And we are on air.
Finally.
The first podcast of many, hopefully. And it is, we don't actually have a name for it. The name will be on the title of the screen. But essentially, this is Max. He makes
Hello.
cool clothes too. You can introduce yourself, Max.
I'm Max Mako, captain.mako is my Instagram. I've been working with Jack for a few years now. I'm in studio 2 doors down. And yeah, we're going to do a podcast today. It's the first of many.
Today, yeah.
2 days it's taken us to set this all up. But
It's been a very long process of setting absolutely everything up and just setting all the wires up, setting all the cameras up, just getting everything to the point where all the cameras worked on OBS and then all the mics worked on OBS. It was an absolute nightmare. But we're here now and we finally got it done. I think this is good. If there's some sort of just to let you guys know, if there's some stuff that is a little bit laggy, we'll just try and skip through the shots. We've got Tommy here next to us, and Tommy is our sound technician / the guy behind the camera that's pulling all of the stuff up on the computer.
Tommy is podcast god.
Tommy's the podcast god, and pretty much we're going to be doing segments throughout these podcasts. So some weeks we're going to be doing different segments, and some weeks we're going to be doing the same segments as we're going to be doing every week. Yeah,
But the segments are good. The segments are, we've got some good ideas, got some good plans. Tommy's planned some games for us that we don't know anything about.
Exactly.
We know what they're called, but that's about it.
We kind of know what the games are called, but Tommy's sort of going to pull them up. Everything in this podcast, if you can't tell so far, is very slow fashion, handmade fashion. As you can tell, we're in my studio, the Rough Cut studio, and it's just going to be very sort of orientated around one-of-one fashion and sort of crafting clothes and sort of conversations that me and Max would normally have on a daily basis. And I think it's quite important to just share that with you guys. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting because I think we talk about some good stuff, especially when we've had a few beers, which we should have got today. But
yeah, I don't know why we didn't get.
We forgot to get the beers. That would have got it flowing super good. But next time we'll have the beers.
Next time we'll have some beers.
We'll do good without them though, I'm sure.
Should we go get some beers?
Nah, it's too late for that. We're recording.
We can pause it.
Nah, let's get this going. We got beers afterwards.
Beers afterwards, then, yeah, as a celebration. But yeah, we're here, and pretty much Max has some exciting stuff to share. I've always got exciting stuff to share with you guys too. So it's kind of it's like an interesting thing where we're just going to go through these conversations, and there might be some cool stuff that you might not know about Max or myself, and then you're like, oh shit, that's happening. So yeah, let's get on to the first little segment of the video. And
our first little segment is some news, some more broader news about sort of fashion or one-on-one fashion in general.
So you got some news ready?
Yeah, so my news, which is pretty cool, is France has put sanctions on a lot of fast fashion, ultra fast fashion they call it though. So it's only Temu and Shein, things similar to that. But I wanted to know how you think that will impact stuff. Oh, and if you think they should do a bit more, because it's just Shein and Temu, and it's only France.
Well, I mean,
so
I think
far.
It's good. I think they're powerhouses, aren't they? I mean, people like China, they're kind of just taking over the world with just import and export and stuff like that. I guess that is why Donald Trump did his tariff stuff. But yeah, I guess whether you agree with that or not, it's kind of good because it's just humans aren't consuming as much as they want to, but
they're consuming more than they should be. That's for sure. But I think the sanctions they put on were just they can't advertise. Could you put it up on Google what they are exactly? But you can't advertise. What were the other ones? There was quite a few different sanctions they put.
So it means their company is just completely fucked.
Basically they can't advertise at all in France, and if they get fined massively, and I think they put taxes on Temu and Shein products coming.
Their products in France.
Yeah, you can still buy them.
So why can't they advertise if they're selling their products in France?
Because the more you advertise, the more they'll sell, and they're just trying to put a dampener on it,
Alright, yeah, I guess.
But I think they should broaden it to Primark and H&M and stuff, Because I think Primark's one of the worst ones, because that really skews people's idea of how much clothes are worth.
True, but I think I always have this same conversation, and I think that it's interesting because you as much as all these companies are bad, I don't know what the short-term or even the long-term solution would be for them, because like not everyone's going to go out and buy like a handmade one-of-one piece.
No, but they don't have to make handmade one-of-ones. But I just feel like Primark should maybe be a bit more expensive and a bit better quality, so people actually keep the stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and don't buy stuff all the time. What?
Yeah,
Tommy got it up.
Tommy's pulled it up here.
What are some of the sanctions they put on them?
The French Senate on Tuesday adopted a bill to regulate the fast fashion industry by sanctioning companies and banning advertisements. The bill is targeted at Chinese-founded e-commerce giant Shein, which has a reputation of selling lower quality clothes at a very low price.
That's the problem, because they just gets thrown in the bin and forgotten about.
And then it says, what does it say? The bill is a major step in the fight against economic and environmental impact of fast fashion and a strong signal sent to businesses and consumers, said the Minister of Ecology. What does that word say?
Ecology? I can't read it from
Ecological transaction. I'm dyslexic. But basically, yeah, I think it's a really good thing, but I just, like...
I think they should do more, though. I think they need to do a bit more.
My mind is always, like, conflicted on stuff like this, just because I agree with it, but I also, like, and I think it's wrong. I think what they're doing is right to ban it, but I also just think, like, what the hell is the solution to, like, Primark? Like, I guess, like you said, upping the prices, but on the other hand...
But then they can up the quality as well.
The fact that, like, you know, if you... You know, their company is aiming to the people which aren't like us, and like we are like super different. So I think.
But the thing is, if I get the point of like, you know, it's more affordable for people, but I think if they buy that and it's terrible quality, they're just gonna throw it away. Where they'd be better off paying that, maybe like instead of buying a t-shirt for £3, buy it for £8-10, but then it lasts them, you know, a couple of years.
Yeah.
Because you can put a t-shirt through the wash and from Primark and it just gone. It's done for straight away.
True. It's kind of interesting because like I was just thinking about this. Do you think back in the day, like when everyone was wearing suits, you know, everyone would go out and buy a suit, but they wouldn't be going to like an equivalent of Primark to like buy a suit.
Yeah, exactly. They'd wear that suit every day.
Yeah,
that would be their suit.
They would like make their money and then sort of like just go out and spend their money. Whereas now, like they're sort of like how the way the world's moving about like house prices are, you know, skyrocketing. Everything's just skyrocketing. The whole point of these like sort of Primarks and all of these different things, maybe it's getting a bit conspiracy in this way, but it is just to like sheep everyone and make them just wear the same thing, you know. It's like, I guess you could say the same about like suits, but in the way of like more in the way of like it's sort of boxing you with like the economical sort of crises. It's boxing you in no other choice but to shop in places like Primark, you know.
No, I know what you mean, but
I don't know, maybe not. Like it's.
Like, I feel like it'd be better like if people just had their, not like a uniform, but like if everyone's wearing suits, like, you know, that's your almost outfit. This is your look. Like instead of people want all these different looks all the time, so they just go in Primark buying the new £10 jacket and wearing that for a week, and then it's out of fashion. They throw it in the bin or leave it in the closet. You know, it's just such a waste. No,
definitely. I mean, there's always them videos going around of like the landfill stuff and how it like just builds up and how they just burn it in like third world countries and stuff.
Yeah, it's like 100 million tons a year or something. It's just rubbish.
Like the funny thing is we're in like the vintage sort of like world too, with like the shops that are all around us, and like something that's interesting with that is that like sort of the process of how vintage gets brought over, or like clothes get brought over to, you know, us. You'd obviously order it from the factory from the east, and you're in the west. It'd get imported over in like a shipment, and then that shipment would sort of like arrive to you 3 months later, and then that wholesaler that's bought that shipment from like India, Thailand, China, wherever, they distribute it throughout the UK to all the vintage shops, and that's kind of how everyone gets their stock. But the point is that like back in the day you wouldn't have the Sheins, the Primarks and all these things, so like you'd have the good vintage brands, and then people in these sort of like rag houses in Thailand or wherever they are, they'd be sorting through and they'd be putting all this good quality clothing into piles. But now the problem is with this whole thing is that like all these vintage bales are just getting filled with like Shein and stuff, you know.
Well, the thing as well with it, we've spoken about this before, is in like 50 years, whereas now like you can get a nice Carhartt bale with a bunch of jeans and they're all like 40 years old. There's not going to be any of that in 50 years because these Shein products just fall apart over the space of
Exactly.
like 6 months, and then
I mean, that's an
you know.
interesting thing on its own. Like, how long is good clothing gonna last? Because, like, obviously, there's people that are always gonna want to do it, like me and you. But like, how long is vintage clothing going? Not vintage clothing, sorry. How long is good quality clothing actually going to last? Because the more time that goes in, you know, the more time that goes past, the more sort of like volume of this shit quality clothing. So then the shit quality clothing starts to have some sort of value to it because there isn't any like.
But it won't exist. This shit quality clothing will just deteriorate so quickly.
Well, true. But
And then
it's
they'll just
like
have
it
to make
gets
more
made
and
so
more.
fast, so it's like.
I think they should recycle
Basically,
more
but
because
where-
they could like other companies could upcycle. They could just like shred the fabric, you know,
Yeah,
like
true.
you do with your patchwork, like
Yeah.
just
I guess there is like
reuse the
recyclability
fabric.
to it. I guess the big question is like how long is vintage going to be around for? Because you know they're not making Carhartt jackets like they used to, for example.
Yeah.
But like
I don't know how good quality the current ones are.
and like Carhartt jackets are going for like $300-400, like a good like £250, like now, and it's like that material isn't around anymore. Like unless it's like already pre-made, like they're not making that material again. Like Carhartt, as a company, isn't pushing out that quality anymore, and it's
A lot of them aren't.
None of the big companies are. Like Levi's aren't. No one's doing like the jackets. So the only way you can find that good quality stuff is.
Don't Levi's do like a special tab though that is like the original quality?
I think
It's like red label stuff or something.
they have
Whatever
like
it
the
is, isn't it?
engineering label, and then maybe they have the red label stuff.
I'm not too sure what it's
I mean-
called. I was a guess, but
I mean, I think they are still doing it. I think it's just like, you know, you're not going to find like a brand new Carhartt Detroit jacket that's made the same quality as what it was made before.
Yeah.
You know, like that it will have some kind of polyester in it rather than it just being like true canvas. And
which is the same for these products, for these companies. I mean, that make so much money.
Mm.
You think they like we like make minuscule money compared to them, and like we still try and use the best sort of stuff, you know, like duck canvases and
Yeah.
nice hardware
But
and
maybe
stuff.
it's
You know,
not. It's also not just on fabrics. It's like the stitching and like you know that the whole thing with like the Carhartt is that you have like the triple lock stitching that is like.
what's that called again?
It's got a name. Don't ask me about stitching techniques, but it's kind of anyway. That like sort of triple lock like French seam or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Like that they don't do that on any of the new Carhartt stuff. It's either like a
Really?
double seam or they do a different technique or whatever. It's like I don't know exactly what it's called. Maybe you could search that up, Tommy. Whilst we're doing this, just have a little search. If you can find like Carhartt old products versus new in stitching or something, and see what comes up. But it's it's not just the fabrics; it's the sewing techniques too. Like the clothing is not as strong as it used to be. Like you know, Levi's used to have rivets and like the crotch, so they wouldn't rip. And there's just loads of different things. You know, maybe
It's a shame.
they took that one away, I think, because it would blow out the crotch. I think if you put like a rivet on the crotch, it like sort of like the crotch of your jeans I'm sort of talking about, then it's more likely to blow out that like you know that like blowout that's on like quite a lot of jeans. I mean, you have them on there.
I have almost every pair of my jeans. That's because I buy the vintage stuff, or get given it by Jack.
Vintage stuff's good. But yeah, no, I guess that's a fun thing to think about with the whole sort of like upcycling of, you know, where the world's going, of how long things will last, and you know, fast fashion. But yeah,
Have you got any news?
I don't have any news about fashion. I don't really like. I didn't prepare.
I'm
for this,
prepared.
to be honest.
Jack was busy setting up the mics though.
I was
And the
busy setting up
cameras.
the mics and the cameras and everything, so I didn't plan anything other than like the little segments, which are easy for me to answer, you know.
Nice.
Oh,
We made this week.
yeah,
Well,
I
it's
looked at Tommy as if he was going to get like a segment ready, but basically,
no. The first half of this
Tommy will
podcast
have
is
a
our
mic.
segments really, and then the second half are his segments.
yeah, Tommy should have a mic, so we're going to probably try figure out halfway through to share this mic, me and Tommy. I'll probably end up holding it and then passing it to Tommy because
Next time we'll have a
cool
have a
sort of
mic
stuff
for
that
him.
we're doing, but
Oh well, as I give the news, you can go first on your favourite thing you've made this month,
okay, favorite thing I've made this month. Let's
or
I might
best
as well
thing.
show you because I'm in the studio. 1 second, let me go grab it. So
What camera are you showing it to?
we've got it here. So this right here. Hold on. This right here is my Japanese wood print hooded jacket, and it is a custom order for a client, but he wanted the matching pair of jeans, matching pair of trousers to them. So I'm keeping this and then shipping them together next week. Pretty much, this is one of my best items to date. I haven't quite finished it. I'm just waiting for some elastic to come through so I can finish the cuffs. But in terms of just pattern and everything like that, I think this is probably the item of clothing I'm most proud of, because it's also sort of spurred some ideas. It's also like sort of spurred some ideas to make. It's also sort of spurred some ideas of how to make like different variations of it in different ways. And
you've used the scraps as well for something, haven't you?
Exactly,
the
I
hats.
used the scraps. That's a fun thing to mention actually. I used the scraps of that jacket to be able to make this hat right here. I made 3 of them. I've sold a few of them. I need to ship these actually with a lot. I normally have shipping days where I just get everything done because I can't be bothered to every day just it takes me out of stuff. So
Our local post office has been removed as well. We've got to go
Everything has to be
half an
collected.
hour walk now to go post our stuff. Neither of us drive because we both suck.
But these are
Too busy making clothes.
These are the caps, which is the same sort of scrap material as this jacket right here. But that is what I am proud of this month.
Where did you get the fireman clasp?
The fireman clasps I sourced from Italy. I went out there and got like. I always find it's really hard to source things like fireman clasps. Like a lot of people
good
don't
hardware.
even know what they're called, and they're like. I feel like they're one of the biggest.
They've got a few
mysteries
names.
in-
Yeah, they are big.
They are like
yeah.
one of the biggest mysteries, especially finding that right size one. That's sort of like big. Can you just get a photo of a fireman clasp up, and so we can react to it? Because
Right size, good quality.
honestly,
From the UK even, that's hard.
fireman clasp.
Every time I try to get one, it's always from America and it's going to cost me like 20 quid shipping for a little bit of metal.
Yeah, just go on images.
That first one, that's like a good view of it.
This right here. Yeah, just pull one of them images up so they're big. Just zoom in.
Or
with
that
your
one
fingers.
below there's pretty good.
Yeah, zoom in with your fingers. This right here is the biggest mystery in one-of-one clothing ever. If you can find them and put them on your clothing, you've instantly hit the algorithm. If you haven't found them yet, then you're going to be asking every single creator in their DMs where to find it.
Yeah,
Am I right with
I've
that?
tried a few times, yeah, and they don't want to answer you.
No one wants to answer you. But so my solution to this was I went to a market called El Colano. It was in El Colano. It's called the Resina Market in Naples, and I went out there to source vintage clothing, and then I found a few jackets that had them on, so I just bought.
Oh, so you upcycled them?
I upcycled them, yeah, but I
Cool.
found them on jackets which were like they were like what's the right way to put it? They were.
Click on that photo with them on the jacket, so people can see what they look like on a jacket.
And then zoom in, yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I was just saying that I found them in that market, and the jacket was around like €10 or something, so it kind of was perfect. I just bought them for €10. You got like 4 out of them, and then I've just put one on each jacket of each one that I'm making. But they're just an insane sort of thing. It's like a cool little clasp. I guess like if you're in the industry of like manufacturing clothing regularly, then you're gonna like find the right things through like places like China. But I've just never been able to find a good sort of like manufacturer.
Place to buy them. The only place I can find them online is Etsy, really, and everything from Etsy seems to be overseas. Takes ages to arrive.
That Etsy one, they ended up being really small though too, didn't they?
Oh yeah, I remember you ordered some. Yeah, they're like little.
But then I just
tiny
used
bits.
them, the small ones I put on I put on these wallets that I'm doing here. Hold on. Ended up putting them on these wallets, so I still use them.
Them little ones would be good for like pockets on jackets. Or I was thinking of trying to get some small ones, and I was gonna make some face masks, and you know how I button the face mask on them like full face trap hats I did.
Yeah.
You know they're buttoned on. I was thinking of getting little
Be
ones
cool
like
to have
that.
them just say clip them on.
Yeah, clip it straight on both sides, and then how I have that metal buckle I always use.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be really cool, I reckon.
So yeah, I mean, what's your favourite thing that you've made this month?
So I haven't made this month, but my favourite thing I've made.
Watch the mic.
It's my favourite thing I've made so far, probably. So I thought I'd come show it.
Yeah. Let's have a look. What is he gonna show us?
I don't know how well this will show up on the camera, the textures.
That's probably not the best camera to hold it up to. Maybe,
What do you reckon?
Maybe come like move around here.
Over to you?
That's my camera, because it's like the widest. That is so nice.
How does that come out? I think you need the light on it, really.
Talk to that mic. We can overlay photos, can't we?
Yeah, Tommy, pull up the Instagram photos. So this is a hooded jacket that I've made recently. Can't really tell from the webcam footage, but the texture and look on it is pretty crazy. It's like a 3D texture effect that I've been working on. It's like layered canvas, all distressed, hand stitching everywhere.
That's pretty cool.
You can see it on the photos a lot better. Zoom right in on it. You can see the hand stitching there on the arm seams.
It's got that like signature. I always say it's like signature, but it's like that distress kind of like grid stop.
Yeah.
Sort of Dremel look that you go for.
It's hard to see on this one because it's triple black, but yeah, so it's one layer of fabric, and then the second layer is distressed and held on with like a grid of stitches, kind of like ripstop vibes. I'm going to experiment with the shape of the of that grid on future pieces.
And I love the
distressing everything.
I love the fur, how it overlaps out the front of the hood too. It's got that sort of like
really
winter
nice
vibe.
Same stuff we both use on our trapper hats.
When did you actually make that? When did you make that? How many?
I made it like 3 or 4 months ago. Quite a little while ago now, but I just thought I'd show it off on the podcast so people. I think it's the best example of what I make, really.
Yeah, I think so too. I really like the zip too. I like the whole thing.
Yeah, I really like
cool.
the zip. Solid. Oh, and it's lined with this lovely image of what's called the deluge. I think that's how it's pronounced.
The deluge.
It's one of the painting that Jack sent me out of his
archive of paintings.
I wanted something dark and pretty mysterious. I've actually called the jacket the deluge after the painting.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I love it because you don't go for like for me, I go for like paintings and put them on the outside of jackets, but I love how you've got that sort of like subtlety of like the paintings you put on the inside.
Yeah, that is one thing is sort of a signature of stuff I do. It's just having the inside being
the subtlety of it though.
Yeah, it's like really dark, but there's pieces where you can proper see it, like the colours on the left they're all green, on the black it's a lot darker, there's like reds in the middle. But then the outside's just completely
and I love that little like, what's that little like sort of V shape you do at the bottom of the jacket?
Oh yeah, the little cutout bit. You know, the pattern for this jacket was, I found it in it wasn't a pattern, it was a hoodie I found in a charity shop, and it was like some like horrible spandex,
I remember when you found that, and I was like, why are you getting that?
Primark hoodie. Yeah. And you were like, what the hell is that? Don't buy that.
Yeah.
And it's actually my favourite pattern. I've made a few jackets out of that pattern. And
see, this is like
cool.
The sewing hack. It's probably time we should sort of say this. Like when you're literally swap back places.
Yeah.
When you're like looking at clothes and trying to find the perfect pattern, obviously, like I think we're both at a stage now that when someone asks us to make a pattern, we can make our own pattern, whether that's a jacket, a pair of trousers, a pair of shorts. You know, I'm not a pattern drafter, but I know how to make a good pattern of a good pair of trousers or a good jacket, enough to be able to sort of like make my own. We'll get to that later, but I don't think there's anything wrong with going out and sort of like, I mean, you can give me your opinions and stuff. I know that you're probably going to think the same on this, but there's nothing wrong with, I mean, we both do all the time. There's nothing wrong with going out to like a thrift shop, charity shop, wherever you are in the world, and sort of just going out, finding just new pattern pieces and finding stuff, like find the coolest hoodie you've ever seen in your life, take it apart by the seams, just cut it right next to the seams, add a bit of like, you know, just get used to patterns and get used to patterns.
Bags, trousers, jackets. It's a good way to not just make a cool item, but it's a great way to like learn how they're put together by taking it apart, because you can see, you know, all the different seams and all the like, how have I forgotten it? Seam allowance, you know, all the seam, how it all works,
No.
how pockets are put together.
No, for sure. I think it's just like, you know, that is like if I go out and find a really nice pattern of something, and it's like an unbranded work jacket, I'm using that pattern.
100%, yeah.
Just like, I know how to draft all the pockets out for it by myself. I know how to like change all the pattern for like sizes or whatever if someone orders and they're like a small or a medium. So I don't think there's anything wrong with going out to a thrift shop, finding your own pattern and finding something you like, taking the pattern apart and using it for your clothing, because you could just reconstruct it out of different weights of fabric, and then you'll end up
Make it
making
out
the
whatever you
coolest
want.
stuff, you know?
I've seen a guy recently on Instagram, and all his reels at the moment are just comprised of him. He's taken apart one of the Carhartt J1 jackets,
I've seen.
and he just goes through different things like
army stuff.
army bags, and he did one the other day. It was like
What's his
vintage life
Instagram?
jackets. I'm not too sure.
Maybe you follow him. If you do, we can pull him up.
Yeah, like vintage life jackets was like the latest one he did, and he made a Carhartt jacket out of it. It looked really good. Let me see if I can find it.
We could have a little react to him. But yeah, I think yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, and I think we're in a world where, as we spoke about earlier, the world is moving so fast, and like 1 million pieces of clothing are getting constructed a day, just for general consumption. The amount of returns through Shein, Boohoo Man are incredible, and I think the fact is you can draft your own pattern. That's amazing, but we've got to somehow make clothing to a certain standard. And
Type in.
Hold on, let me just finish this sentence quick. But I was just saying. Wait, no, we'll go on to this.
No, you type it in. Well,
I was just saying that we've got to make a standard where we can make clothing fast enough too. And for me, it means that I can. For me, I just use other things as references. If I drafted every single jacket pattern I could out from absolute scratch every time I made a jacket, then I think it would be a very hard process. A lot of my jackets are referenced off the previous. If I make a jacket pattern, then I'll just make it again and then add a hood. I think the paintings speak for themselves. I think the patchwork speaks for itself. But I think it's very important. Yeah, let's pull this up.
this guy. So type in this, Tommy. I can't really pronounce his name, but so ZDRO YEVSKI_.
Looks like the Wi-Fi is fucking up.
Zdrojewski. Not too sure where he's from. Oh, no, that's his surname. His name's Alex.
Hopefully the Wi-Fi's not gone, because it looks like it's not searching. But yeah, I mean, you do the same thing, Max, don't you? So it's pretty.
Yeah,
pretty
definitely with loads of
okay to
stuff.
do
It's very useful to find patterns.
that.
I don't usually use them exactly though. I usually alter them, like make them longer. Like that one was a woman's hoodie and it was really short, so I like making them longer.
Them, making them bigger, testing different fabrics. I mean,
Using different pockets. That one, the woman's hoodie didn't have a zip on it either. I added a zipper to that.
one thing that I really enjoy to do myself is make the initial first one out of calico. I don't do it a lot at the moment, but at the moment I'm creating the patterns and stuff, which again we'll get to later, but essentially I make the first initial sample of the pattern out of calico, so then I can showcase what it would be like to
Show the hat.
create something. Yeah, I'll grab this hat so you can see. Whilst we have a technical difficulty with the internet, I think the internet's slowly going down, which is not good. If it does, we'll pause and come right back, but it should be okay. This is what I meant by that. This is one of them sort of canvas pieces that I make, and it just means I can test patterns and do stuff like that. I get this 14 ounce really nice duck canvas. I'd like to make a jacket out of it and dye it, to be honest, but
Is that duck canvas?
it's duck canvas.
Oh, I thought it was calico.
It's from the upholstery shop. We have a little upholstery shop nearby, which is really
They sell
nice.
duck canvas.
Yeah, they sell duck canvas. That's from the.
What?
But it's just obviously raw, and it's quite expensive. It's only it's $14.95.
Is that the one in Winton?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't realise they sold this. That's sick.
But yeah.
Yeah, dyeing this would be great.
The Wi-Fi's gone out. It looks like the Wi-Fi's gone.
What do you know what the difference is between canvas and duck canvas, Jack?
Between canvas and duck canvas.
Yeah.
No.
What makes duck canvas duck canvas?
Heavier.
Not necessarily.
I haven't got a clue what the difference between canvas and duck canvas. What are you trying to do, Tom?
Well, I think it's this guy right here. Is it not? Is it not?
Is the Wi-Fi back on?
Yeah, I think so. But can't find it.
Can you just send the account?
That's
on
just
this
the
new,
rock. That's not even
profile
anywhere near
picture?
what you've typed in. How is it showing that?
Tommy's pulled up the rock.
No, I mean,
I was trying to send it, but the Wi-Fi wasn't working.
I think try to connect and disconnect. I don't know if that will affect the stream. I don't think it will, but
Wait, I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna airdrop.
well, no, because we're not on Wi-Fi.
I'm
here, we're
airdropping it to the MacBook.
We're recording, not streaming, so Anyway, sorry about this technical difficulty, guys. Oh,
There we go. We found him. So this guy. Yeah, this guy. Recently, he's been making loads of cool jackets out of the.
Yeah, we've got to pull up the screen. We've got to get used to this whole podcast thing, don't we?
I can't tell when it's pulled up on the screen or not, though. I just see it at the screen.
Go on then, break it down.
Yeah, click that orange one there. That's the recent one with the life jackets. This is sick. Oh, you're not logged in? I thought you made us an account, Tommy.
We had an account going.
As you can tell, this is our first podcast.
This is our first podcast, but I think
It'll be getting
as
better.
these go forward, maybe like once a month, obviously not overdo them, but I think once these go forward, we'll be doing quite a few. Maybe like a 2 weekly thing.
Yeah, I reckon.
I mean, already this is quite like, it's quite exciting.
It's quite fun, yeah, I'm enjoying this.
It's just nice talking about things. Your camera just cut out then, Max, but it should be okay.
It's okay.
Bloody hell, inference, technical difficulties.
If this goes well, we'll get some better equipment and stuff as well.
We'll get some better equipment and we'll do things the right way if this goes well. We're sort of just doing it with what we have. But what I was saying was, I can't remember.
I think we were just saying about this guy. Well, maybe we should move on to the next thing while we're waiting for.
Oh
this
yeah, I was just gonna say it's really good. That's laggy.
So,
It seems alright.
so in like 5 seconds, pretend like we just put him up. We're gonna chop it up after the video, like so it's gonna seem like nothing happened. So
I think it's fine if things fuck up.
nah, but not as bad.
Cool.
So go and introduce him.
I don't know. Well, his name's Alex. What's his? I can't say his Instagram name. How do you say that? There's a droid.
I don't know his Instagram.
Okay.
Let me see.
Tommy
Let me have a
knows more. It's a
So, yeah.
Droidski. But yeah, click on that orange jacket.
He's got 337,000. I've seen this guy a lot. Like he does like them sort of videos where he just showcases his products, like
yeah.
where he's just stood there doing. He makes a lot of like bow-legged like cowboy trousers and stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah, so they're the life jackets, and that's the original life jacket, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then what? He brings out the Carhartt J1 pattern. Did he not show you that bit?
No, that's cool. That's really cool.
You can see.
That is cool. I think like this is it. Like a lot of people comment under my stuff, and
It's not that one.
a
Go
lot
down
of
a
people
bit.
like.
That one on the right there, that green one. Yeah.
Yeah,
You might see here how he uses the J1 pattern.
He's hitting that
Carhartt
algorithm
workwear
with
jacket.
600,000 likes.
Yeah, so there's the Carhartt jacket.
Uh-huh.
Takes it apart into its pieces, probably with a seam ripper. That probably takes ages.
Mm-hmm.
Took me a whole day to do one the other day. And then just lies it down on the fabric. And then you end up with a exact replica shape of a Carhartt jacket, but just made out of army bags. And it looks sick.
Mm.
It looks really good. It'd be nice to experiment with different fabrics doing that.
Yeah, nice. It is really, really cool. I think I was gonna say, like, I get these comments left on my Instagram quite a lot. I guess you don't really do them yourself, but like it's quite interesting with this whole like Carhartt rework thing, because like you're putting, you know, the brand on a creation that you've made. But I think with things like this, it's completely fine, because obviously you're like when I make my Carhartt reworks, I'm using Carhartt material. Like I'm not just throwing the Carhartt logo on like my printed jackets. It's kind of like I'm reworking a product that I'm not claiming is mine. I wouldn't put my like, you know, my logo on that product. I'm just like sort of making a Carhartt rework and upcycling it to the audience.
What are the, because you explained to me before what the kind of
legalities of it.
Yeah, like you said, what is it when it has
Well,
the logo on it? When it has your logo on it, it can't be.
You know, I mean, like
Your
you have
speech
like companies have like, and I'm just gonna put it out there and say that I'm not like the most knowledgeable about these things. So me speaking about this now, I'm not claiming to know everything. I'm just gonna say what I sort of understand and know, or like not know, what I sort of think or heard, or let me just explain it. Basically, it's like the intellectual property of like Carhartt is like the logo. It's not their fabric. Like obviously they don't like trademark their duck canvas. They
Can't really, can you?
Well, yeah, they trademark their logo, and then obviously like if I go and like, remix their logo or put that logo on a t-shirt or something, the same way you'd go to like I don't know, maybe a third world country and see like a bunch of Louis Vuitton t-shirts that are just completely fake. Like you could sort of if that was in the Western world and people started selling them like out and about, then you'd soon be sued for doing so, you know. But like if I'm finding like 8 pairs of jeans, sorry, I just got a call in my pocket. If I'm finding like 8 pairs of jeans out and about in like thrift shops, or in my case I had thousands in the other room of Carhartt and Dickies trousers, I'm remixing them, I'm creating a pattern, and then I'm creating a whole jacket like the ones that you see around me, then you can clearly see that like it's a Carhartt product. I'm not putting like a rough cut logo on it. So I think you sort of like
so you can't have both logos on there at the same time.
I don't think so. I don't think I would do that anyway, because I wouldn't want to like put like, I would do it if it was, say if it was like an official collaboration from like Carhartt, then I'd love
for sure
like to do something like that.
But like when you put their logo on, how do they know, how does it not be classed as a fake?
Well, technically it could, but I think it's the same think about it,
because it's not something it's not like an item they've made, you know, like they've not made.
No, of course, but think about it this way, like if you were to go out and you were to like get 2 pairs of Carhartt trousers, or you could just get 1 pair of Carhartt trousers, let's just make this as easy as possible, and then you cut both the legs off and you sewed the 2 legs together and you made a Carhartt skirt, right? And then you sold that skirt on Depop, Vinted, wherever you sold that skirt, like, is that you making a Carhartt fake, or is that you just doing like
bit of upcycling,
and then selling that on as a second-hand item? Like, you're not selling it on as a fake,
point,
you're not selling it on as a new design, you're selling it on as something which is like, you know, it's just product. Upcycled, you know. That like all the jeans that I use are pretty much thrashed, and you probably couldn't resell them for like a good price. Like, I grade my trousers in like A, B, C, D. You know this, you've done it with me for years. But pretty much like, the way it works is you have like A grade quality, which is like great pairs, stuff like this, and then it goes all the way back down to D. D being like thrashed, would never resell. But you can get like little bits of like you know, you can get little patches of denim off them things, and then with them patches that I get off the grade Ds, I make into the jackets. You can see like this one here, and I guess you're just salvaging, and you're making something that's like coming into the world as like a new thing. All the other pairs of jeans are just going to sit there for years. They can't be worn again, you know. So it's like,
but you can use their fabric, just the fabric, and then whack your logo on it without theirs, right?
I don't know the sort of ins and outs of that, but I guess the same way, like, as long as you're not using their like rivets and like zips with Carhartt stuff, like I guess like you could go anywhere, like like the duck canvas that you find from the upholstery shop, like, could be like a company that's woven it in the same factory that the woven factory fabric's made for Carhartt. I guess the thing is, I guess that's a tricky one, but I mean, I try and move away from that, because I don't really think that's like the best thing to do, which is why
moving more onto like the printed fabrics as much as possible. But
I think it's a weird line. Like, I get a lot of comments on Instagram which are like, oh, why would you put Carhartt logo on your beautiful creation? And it's like, I don't know, like, I'm maybe trying to move away from doing it a bit more.
It hit the algorithm good though.
It hits the algorithm, it does views, it does all that sort of thing, but I'm not entirely sure why I put the Carhartt logo back on. I guess I do like Carhartt, and I have a lot of love and a lot of respect, and like a lot of like if I had to, like, I'm not really like too much of a lover for brands, but I do feel like Carhartt is a brand which has a lot of like, it's very close to my heart. I love the workwear, I love the brand's identity, I love everything the brand is, because I wear the trousers every day, you wear the trousers every day, you've got like all the double knees from me and stuff. I have about 30 pairs up there still from my 2000 that I sold a few months ago, and it's just like, I do feel like Carhartt is that like perfect, like what we talked about earlier, that perfect sort of like epitome of sort of like slow fashion items of clothing that are made to last the test of time. Like, they're made for workers. Like,
they are. I agree, the epitome of that, because they are like, you see them dug up in mines, just still wearable.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
you have like the you know, I follow that guy on YouTube. You could pull this up, to be honest. Maybe go on Instagram and type in like Indiana jeans, he goes into like mines and finds Levi's jeans from like a long time ago. Indiana jeans. It might be spelled like Gene. Indiana. Is it down there? I don't know.
Have we spoke about what's inspired us this month? Have we got to that yet? I don't think we got to that one yet, have we? That's our third.
Yeah, we'll do that after we
thing.
find Indiana jeans. Indiana jeans is so sick. You need to look at him. Indiana jeans. Indiana jeans. Is it Indiana jeans?
I don't know.
Type in Ghost Town Living. And then we might be able to find it from there. Ghost Town Living, top one. How many followers? No, that's not him. Type in Cerro Gordo.
Bloody hell.
Mate, I don't know how to find this. Just type in Indiana jeans on the search bar. Don't do it on Instagram, and you'll just see the guy come up. But basically, he goes into like different places. Indiana jeans. Just type in Indiana jeans. Or Levi's or something. Type in Levi. No, mines, like underground mines.
Explain to us what this guy's doing while Tommy tries to find
So
him.
what this guy does is he basically goes into old like silver, sort of like silver rush mines, and he'll find like old 1800, late 1890s to 1910 Levi's jeans. Look, why are these jeans abandoned in the mine? Go on that YouTube video there. He's with the guy. Yeah, that top one. Basically, he goes into mines. He finds jeans, and Levi's will actually buy them back off you if they are found in the mines, because obviously they're the oldest products that Levi sells. And then Levi has like their own sort of like museum in, I think it's San Francisco where they are based, but they have their own museum. Pretty much if you skip forward a little bit, you'll see there's the museum. If you go back a little bit, you'll see the museum that they're in. Back, yeah, they're dating a pair of trousers there, I believe. But pretty much, yeah, they're essentially, she's talking about it there. If you go back, you can kind of see the jeans on the table. And like we were talking about earlier, the quality of them is obviously rubbish now because they're absolutely thrashed. But back in the day, they'd be workers' trousers and made specifically for working. You know,
A pair of Primark jeans though would
be crumbling.
There'd be
in
a button
seconds.
left. That's all would be left. Would be like a little button and a rivet.
Definitely.
Heavy.
But Indiana Jeans, he goes out with this guy called Indiana Jeans here. I don't know his actual name. Maybe I'm
Indiana
just getting-
Jeans goes out with Indiana Jeans.
Yeah.
Let's
No,
do it
no.
then, right?
This guy's name's Brent, and he owns like a gold mine.
Yeah, wow, yeah,
in
look at them.
California.
Is that visible on the screen? Them jeans.
Yeah.
Is my camera okay? No. Yeah, it's all good now.
But yeah, essentially, like this guy owns another mine, and he's kept all these jeans. But each of them jeans are probably worth like £30,000 to £40,000 each. Like 30 to 40,000, because they're Carhartt. Because they're Levi's jeans that have been sat in a mine since the 1890s all the way up to like 1950s. Obviously, the price goes down the longer, the less they've been. You know, the
longer they'd be in the mine, the more expensive they are.
The more expensive they are. You know.
Yeah.
But it's quite interesting because obviously, like, we had all these jeans, and I guess there's like little things you can look for in like the Levi's where you can find like the Big E tabs. You remember we were like looking for them in the old Levi's, where if you find like a true Big E sort of label in the back, like the tag, the Levi's label, type in Big E, like Big E, the letter E, Levi's Big E. Go on images, and then just go like vintage. And a lot of them will be like salvage and that sort of raw denim, and you can see there's like £1,000 ones. They go all the way up like £2,000 ones. Like some of them.
Show the people what it is they're looking for.
So yeah, so go type in like Big E label and then go on images, and then you can sort of see what the labels you're looking for look like. Maybe there on that like one on the left. If you zoom in on that one, left down. There, yeah. So click on that one and then zoom in. So most of the Levi's tags, they have like a lowercase e, and you're kind of looking for that big E there. Some of them are fake, but if you find that big E, then you might be onto some money, depending on if you've got like salvage denim or old vintage Levi's.
That's an interesting thing to know, really.
Yeah.
So uppercase E is what you're looking for.
Uppercase E, not because that kind of like idea of, you know, going out into the mines, finding your own Levi's jeans and then keeping them, and then Levi's comes and buys them back off of you for £100,000, like this big corporation. It's just kind of cool. But I follow them guys on Instagram and watch them going like mining for Levi's, and 99% of the time they'll never find anything, but there's that percentage in there where they do find, you know, a pair of jeans worth £100,000. It's
That's
cool.
pretty
Imagine
crazy.
like having something around, like we're in the south of the UK, so imagine having something like that around here.
Yeah, what would be our equivalent of that?
Don't know, like
Finding a Nike Tech tracksuit from
finding
2010.
a Nike Tech tracksuit under the pier.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
literally.
But yeah. Anyway, should we
Move on
like,
to the next thing. Yeah,
move
move
on
on
to
to the
the
next
next
segment. We're talking about what's inspired us this month.
Yes, good one.
What's been our biggest inspiration?
What is our biggest inspiration?
My one. So recently I did my first fashion show. Thank you, everyone.
Go Max.
Yeah, with a company called One Platts. It was in Bristol. We live down in Bournemouth, so it was a 3-hour drive up there, full car, full of all my clothes, things from my studio. I set up a little space there with a table, a rail, brought my treasure chest full of fabrics, my sewing machine. And yeah, it was inspiring just because I got to meet a lot of other people doing similar things. You don't really day to day get to meet a lot of other people doing what we're doing. Like,
Yeah,
I've got
so
Jack,
true.
but yeah, I'm getting bored of him.
Literally. Likewise.
Joking. But yeah, it's nice to meet other people you haven't met before doing similar things, because it kind of feels, when we're here doing it, kind of feels like we're the only people in the world, you know?
The only people in the entire world that make clothing. It's
Until
so
you meet
true.
other people.
It's such a hard one though, because like,
I can't imagine meeting someone around here doing
Mm.
anything similar.
but then
to
you
a
never
good-
know. Like
good
I
quality.
always say, and it's like, I guess with us, we're like the sort of people. Like I'd like to think. I mean, you can speak for me. I guess I can speak for you. But I know that you are the sort of person that like loves to go and meet people, get involved,
Mm.
talk to everyone, sort of like get an understanding of what people are doing. But like I feel like there's sometimes like I get a bit nervous to go to them events because I don't know how people are going to sort of react to me, if that makes sense. Not me as in like who I am, but me just being like someone new to ask them questions, if that
Mm.
makes sense. Like you never know like what people are going to be like, because they might have egos attached to what they do, you know. So I
Yeah, and a
guess,
few people definitely do. Like,
Mm.
I couldn't say anyone specifically. A lot of people I've met doing it are really quite nice, but
mm,
yeah, I don't know. A lot of people can get a bit big-headed about it,
yeah.
but it's
But what
it's
I
hard
was
not
going
to
say
really
was that
sometimes when
with
you
that
make something
One
great.
Platts event, sorry, I was going to say with that One Platts event, it was like really not that at all, and everyone
No.
was super lovely, and everyone was super amazing. Everyone had amazing clothes. Everyone had amazing stories. Like, you know, Rory from he used to live in Bournemouth.
Yeah,
Mirror Studios.
yeah.
He's really fucking cool. Like everything
He was a nice guy.
makes is
Yeah,
so
I had a
cool.
nice chat with him. He's moving in a good direction. He's got a lot of good story behind his brand.
Definitely, I had to cop a t-shirt. I bought a t-shirt to support
Nice.
him. Rory, you're doing amazing stuff. And I follow him on Instagram too, so it's amazing just seeing his like progress of like going through just like cutting and sewing all the jeans. Like he'll make like one pair of jeans and then yeah, Mirror Studios.
MURA.
MURA dot studios. Like
Yeah, not mirror.
not mirror.
MURA. There you go.
Dot studios. I think that's his Instagram. I can pull it up on my phone and airdrop it if not, but he just like he'll make a concept and it'll be like the wildest. Maybe that top one. I don't know. Hold on. Let me
No, it's not
pull up
that
the
one.
Instagram and I'll airdrop it to you. Mirror.
It's very hot up here.
But yeah, he's a very good designer. He basically will make one concept and then obviously sell it to his audience through Mirror dot studio.
A studio. No
Dot
S.
Studio, no S, yeah. MURA dot studio.
Yeah, but he's got a cool like sci-fi
Themed
theme around his
yeah.
brand.
There we are. And it's like look how
Alien,
cool them
scientists, monsters,
back
stuff like that.
pocket designers are. They're so
Top left, yeah.
yeah. And yeah, I mean like this video is him going through the process. I think of him making them. I saw this last night and it was so cool. But everything he does is really cool. To be fair. You know, he had that like helmet, that crazy like robotic helmet.
Well, if you go, I think if you go after this one, and it's like second row in the middle, yeah, that's the show. That was the One Platts show. That was one of his
Well, I was about to say
models.
Let's. I mean, big ups Rory, but let's circle back round to why that inspired you, because I feel
Yeah.
like you did
Well,
a bit of a
maybe if you go on my Instagram, we might. I think
big up Rory though.
don't know if I posted any of the photos. Maybe go on the tag photos on the right. Yeah, go to that second one. Yeah, so that's one of my outfits. I put together. I designed the just that first one. Designed the hat, the jacket, the bag, and the t-shirt. Even that t-shirt's one of the first items I actually made.
Yeah, so
couple
I
years
remember
ago.
when we were in like a. Where were we?
That was in the old studio.
No, we were in like a. I've somehow met you in a club, and you
No,
brought,
what
you
was it in
brought
a
the
club?
t-shirt with you, and we were in.
Oh,
Camel
what in Camel? Yeah,
we were
before
in, like,
before we really
local
knew each
club,
other well.
and you
very
brought
well.
the t-shirt and came and showed me.
I knew Jack was going to be at this bar,
Mm.
and I knew he sewed, and I was just getting into sewing, and I thought I'll go show him.
Yeah.
I'll go bring it in my bag so I can show him the t-shirt, see
Uh-huh.
what he thinks. So we're in the smoking area, and I pulled it out of my bag.
Maybe we need to
showed
just
you.
like give a brief sort of history on like where we both.
Well, this is a good start.
This
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
good start.
So yeah, I pull that t-shirt out of the bag, showed Jack, and you instantly were like, "Just come check out the studio tomorrow." Like, come, because I don't think I've been up there yet.
Yeah.
So I came up, and then you just gave me a space up there. Really,
Yeah.
we cleared a little corner, moved my sewing machine up.
Well,
I don't think I'd bought an industrial then. I think I bought one.
You bought one
soon as you
a few
told me
weeks
that.
After, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the thing is like I saw you, and like you said earlier, it feels like you're doing this on your own. So like you got to think, for me, I'm sort of like doing all this on my dead own. Except from obviously there was people in the studio at the time, but they're not really doing the same thing I'm doing. So I
Yeah.
saw you doing that, and I was like instantly snatch you, bring you in the studio, and like teach you, and like then we can make clothes together, which is what we're doing now.
And at that point, that sewing for me was just like a little side project. I was just testing it out, seeing what it was like, and I've been doing it pretty much every day
You're
since
so
then.
deep in. It's one of
Yeah,
the things
yeah.
that's caught you
The only
now.
thing I can think about half the time, you know.
Now you've got the sewing allergy.
Yeah, literally. I'll be
Yeah.
trying to watch a movie, and all I can think about is zippers or pockets.
Literally, yeah.
Or someone be talking to me,
So
I'm just
true.
daydreaming about patterns.
No, definitely. But how would you? What was like? Oh, I was gonna say loop back round and say why it inspired you, and then I'll move on to what inspires me, and then we can move on maybe.
Yeah,
We
so
can keep talking about what we're doing.
well, I kind of said why it inspired me. Just meeting all them people, seeing what they're making,
Definitely.
just makes me want to, you know, even like incorporate things other people are using. Like some guy there was like, I'm not sure how he did it, but I think he might have bleached. I think he was like airbrushing on stuff and bleaching it. And I've been meaning to do a lot of I've been wanting to like bleach and like dye things recently. Like I've painted on a few things before. I used to do one of the first things that got me into clothing was I'd buy blank black hoodies and bleach paint on them and
Yeah, I
then
remember.
dye them. That was like the first thing I ever did
I
before I
remember
even
them
started to
hoodies.
sew. Yeah, they did alright. I sold them for like 70 quid each when I first started.
Decent.
But I would like to go back into that again. I think there's a jacket I'm planning on doing next month.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
heavily
you've got-
involved with bleaching, and it's gonna be it's gonna be similar vibes to that. But yeah,
Have you seen that
people
lady
will
on,
see.
on Instagram that like she distresses like indigo denim and it makes like
pictures.
pictures?
Yeah, no, I've seen her quite a lot of
It
times. She's
popped
great.
Off on TikTok. I don't
Mm.
know her Instagram.
Yeah,
Big
she used the
ups to her.
Dremel, didn't she?
Yeah, but I mean you've got the Dremel. That'd be really cool to see.
Got the Dremel. Yeah, I
Because
mean,
imagine-
I don't know if that would show up because I usually use canvas. Canvas is like my main fabric. I like denim, but one thing I like about canvas is it seems to be like you can get the same color like all the way through. Like when I distress it, it's black all the way through. But when you distress denim, you always get a lot of the time you get that
Grey or
white.
white sort of
Yeah, the
like
white under like
diagonal.
yeah, all the phrase of white.
the
Like if you get
grey
blue
or
denim,
black or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so if you get the blue denim, it's not going to be blue fraying. It's going to be white
Mm.
fraying, which will it does come out cool.
What's
still.
it called? The wrap or the wharf?
I have no idea.
Type in on the internet, just as a funny thing. Type in jeans wrap and wharf.
It's
Don't know.
I don't know. It's how
this is
the
another bit of,
fabric's
like-
weaved, isn't it? It's like one way is the blue,
and
it's
one way's the
dyed.
white. Just type in like jeans, like
Just type in denim weave.
Denim weave.
Denim weave.
See, this is another thing. Like we do so much denim. Like this should be something that we
Denim
know
and
can say,
canvas,
like,
yeah.
speak for 10
I know
years.
very briefly about it, but it's because we're self-taught. We don't know the ins and outs. I'm sure if you went to uni, they'd give you a whole
Right.
month on learning about this.
Exactly.
But then you don't actually make any clothes.
yeah,
That's something we should touch on. Uni.
exactly. We should talk about uni. Basically, it's not going to show you, but there's like there's two directions with like denim.
That is right there. That's it. Yeah, you see the blue weave.
The warp and then the weft. That's
What is it? Is it's like one over 2 under or something in it? And I
Yeah.
think I'm pretty sure it's the. So that's why on the back side of denim it's more white because that's where the 2 over the white is. But on the top half it's the 2 of the blue. So you get a lot more of the blue on the top
Go
half.
follow Garment Studios. You know that guy, that Japanese guy who does all the like.
Does the animations?
Like they're sick.
Yeah, he's really
And
good.
He's very good at.
He
teaching.
does a lot of
He's
clothes, doesn't
very
he?
good at value, and I think his clothes do really well too because he adds that value like that people want. You know.
Are you on about the guy that animates the sort of like the?
No. I'm on about that. You know that Garment Studios. Type in like Garment
I'm not sure
Studios
who you're talking
or
about.
something Studios. I think it's Garment Studios. No, not this guy. Not this guy. Sorry. Glad you didn't pull that up because that would have made me look like I'm mugging him off. But it's called something Studios, and he's basically like this Japanese guy. He's very into his like garment research and fabric research, and he
Does he have face tattoos?
no,
head
but he
tattoos?
like sits there and does these like
Who am I
2-minute
thinking
videos with a microphone, and he like talks about the clothing, and it's like
Who am
really
I thinking of?
interesting. Well, we need to find this guy. Yeah. Let me find it on my Instagram.
Well, wait. Should we get Tommy to look for it, and then we'll because we haven't talked about what's inspired you
Tommy,
this
go
month.
find it.
Find it now.
Find it right now.
What's inspired you this month, then, Jack?
So, what has inspired me this month? I always say it myself, but like I'm not the biggest like watcher of other people's sort of stuff. I guess
I'm listening. I'm just also looking for the guy.
And I guess the thing that inspires me the most is like the history of stuff, the sort of like actual like quality in things being made, the workmanship, the craftsmanship. So I guess the thing that's inspired me this month at the moment is Japanese wood prints. I mean, I guess I can give a little sort of brief history on Japanese wood prints.
You've used that in your
I'm
piece
using
you've
it a
showed
lot
us.
at the moment. Yeah, I used it in that jacket that I showed you earlier. But basically, Japanese wood prints, they're amazing. And obviously, it's a totally different thing than like an actual painting from like a Renaissance painting or something. They're not like proper paintings, but what they are is they're like, they're prints, and essentially, they're called like ukiyo-e. Is this the guy? Nah, not this guy.
I'm pretty sure I follow him too.
You guys are both trying to find it, and I'm just trying to go on a little tangent.
You tell us about your wood prints.
Well, no, I'll tell you when we're all listening.
Yeah,
Let's
we
just
are
forget
listening.
about this, and I'll overlay it over the thing so people can go check it out. They don't need to like. Look
Okay,
at it now,
yeah,
'cause
we'll
I
find
can't
them later
remember
on.
the name of it. But basically, Japanese wood prints. Essentially, they are obviously prints. They're not paintings. So like one person hasn't just made one painting and then just like sold it as like a massive like huge number sale in auction or whatever. I mean, obviously they wouldn't auction it back in the day.
Is it like
but,
carved?
the wood's carved and then it'd be reverse pressed onto paper in all the different colours, and then in the end you'd have this like wood print.
How do they get the
Basically-
colours?
So basically, they'd have
Rather than
different
just-
dyeing process.
Is it like different stamps? Like they carve different images and then it layers, like
It
a
layers and then they're
like a
all
multi-layered screen print would be. Like
exactly.
you do the different colour pieces and then you stamp it.
Yeah,
different
but they'd have
colours.
like studios. So like each like these like Japanese wood print sort of studios would have like, they'd have like multiple people working on these at a time, and they're called like ukiyo-e, and that basically means like the floating world in Japanese. And it was like a representation for sort of like the sort of like the entertainment districts in like Japan, in Tokyo, which back in the day used to be called Edo. And basically in Edo, which is now Tokyo, they'd have like these entertainment districts, and like Japan and sort of Tokyo weren't going through like any wars at the time, and their like taxes were sort of capped at like a really good like spending, like as in like they wouldn't get taxed like heavily, so all their money would go to the government. So like all the money was getting put back into things like art
Creative
and
stuff.
passion and like creative stuff.
And that's the problem we've got at the moment in this country. Really, is everything's
Yeah.
just ridiculously expensive. No one has any money to do creative stuff. You know,
Exactly. But anyway,
I barely
so
do.
then people were making like Japanese wood prints of all of like the I guess the equivalent of, if you were from England, the equivalent would be like this would be like the Camden Market of London.
How
back in
old?
the day.
How far back does the wood
They go
prints
back
go?
to like the 1500s.
Really?
Like yeah, but they like obviously you can see as like the sort of time frame evolves, you can see the colours start to come in, and then they start to be on like.
Did it start
samurai
black and white then?
battles. It just started with black and white. It was inspired by like the Buddhist sort of culture that came over to Japan. It was kind of like that. I guess if you just type in like Buddhist wood print, you might see like the sort of references, and then after type in Japanese wood print.
Do you still get people these days doing it the traditional way?
Yeah, definitely. I watch
Yeah.
a guy on YouTube sometimes to fall asleep, and he's just like a really fun guy that just makes Japanese wood prints, and it's like all ASMR, and he just like, you can hear the left and the right, so if he does something with his right hand, you can hear it in your right headphone.
Oh, fair.
Not that I'm like a big ASMR fan. Like
Sounds
that,
like it. Sounds like it's your kink right now.
Yeah, that's my shit. Go back
your
and just
shit.
type in like just type in like Japanese wood print Buddhist, and it might come up with like an inspiration there. Like I guess that second image in, or that second image down on the first row, over on the left, yeah, that one, like that's kind of like where the inspiration for them came in, I guess. And then these are like wood prints, I'm pretty sure. And then if you type in like
So they'd use that as like a stamp.
yeah, and then type in like Hiroshige. I don't know how you like, if you can.
Similar to how they do books back in the day, isn't it? Really, like they'd engrave the words
It will probably
onto
come
a
up
plank
on-
of wood and then stamp it into the pages.
And then you have like people like this, like Hiroshige, that does like the, you know, like the very like famous like
Oh, yeah.
wave.
Everyone knows that one.
Everyone knows that. And then you have like loads of different artists too. But there's a really good website out there. It's called like ukiyo-e.org, and it's just like an archive of like all the paintings. And I like to go on there and just like have a search. It has them all in sort of like dated order and stuff, so you can sort of like get a good gist of all of them. But I think what it is that inspires me about these the most is like the idea of just like, you know, they made these as like the same way, you know, like how you'd release like a magazine and then sell it in a shop. Like these were like £4, like the equivalent of
print?
like £4 to buy. Yeah, you'd buy one of these and put them in your house. Like they weren't expensive, so that's where I say the contrast between like Japanese wood prints and like Renaissance art. Like Renaissance art would have like, you know,
You
you'd
can't
go
really
to-
mass produce
can't
that.
mass produce
Once
it,
you've
you'd
got
never
the
have the
wood
same
carving,
Mona Lisa.
you can.
exactly, when you
pump
have
them
the
out.
same like stamps over and over again, you can recreate. And then like obviously
You
the
can
people
kind of
that-
tell the layers of colours. Like nothing's blended. You know, it's like very, almost quite
some
blocky.
stuff's blended, but I don't really know how they do the blending stuff. Like you can see it's dark blue and then like light blue. I need to look a bit more into that, but you can definitely see the colours of what's stamped and stuff. But I think the most interesting thing with them is like, for me, is that like you have collectors that still collect Japanese wood prints, and they'll be auctioning and buying them in auctions. Now they're obviously being like sold for amazing, crazy prices. But back in the
older
day,
they
they're-
are. Same with like how the Levi's, you know.
exactly,
The older
yeah,
it is.
so the older they are, the more expensive they are. But he's literally opening originals, or like he's opening like mystery boxes, and he might get like a reprint, and then he's like, oh shit, it's a reprint. And then like he'll open another one, and he'll be like, this is an original, and he'll be, yes. It's just the culture of Japanese wood prints is really cool, and it's something that interests me, I guess.
You've got to go to Japan next then, because you've been in Italy a few times for your Renaissance paintings.
Exactly. The goal is to go to Japan next and make some garms out there in some like crazy like cherry blossoms or something nuts. That'd be cool, right?
So the Italian Renaissance paintings, obviously they're from Italy, and then you got this from Japan. Are there any other like artistry styles from around the world, like old ones that you know about that you might use in the future?
Definitely. Our friend, you know, Sai.
Yeah.
Well, of course you know Sai, but I'm just saying it for the podcast.
Yeah.
But basically, me and Sai were looking very, very briefly the other day, but we were having a little look into, or he was looking, I was just, you know, we were talking about it. But there's some really cool, like, old Thai paintings and, like, artworks. I think a lot of, like, countries merge together in ways, like, you know, like the French sort of, like, old French sort of age of Renaissance, and not Renaissance, but, you know, that sort of age of the French painting.
Because this is these Japanese wood prints, they're very like they've got their signature look, you know, like it's obviously not
definitely do.
a Renaissance painting, and a Renaissance painting is obviously a Renaissance painting, you
Definitely. Of course. I guess oil paintings are amazing. I mean, like that sort of Western sort of world, like the, you know, the England, the France, the like the Dutch, the sort of like Italian oil paintings, they're amazing. They all kind of like merge. Like if you were someone who didn't like know paintings, I guess they'd all merge into one, and you wouldn't be able to know which one's the Italian and which one's not. I guess like biblical stuff and stuff like that would be what separates it. But I don't know, there is definitely like other forms of art, like I'd love to go into sort of like,
because it's nice that you can tell that is that.
Yeah, true. I'd love to go into sort of like the whole like, I don't know, like old Native American stuff, or like
almost
replicating
like
an
carvings,
old sort of,
cave carvings or something, you know.
yeah, like
even.
replicating an old sort of like petroglyph onto a jacket or something.
And like I guess like Egyptian hieroglyphs, stuff like that, and the arch they do.
Hieroglyphs,
That's another style that's very recognisable.
No, for sure.
What's that one you did on? I know it's not Egyptian, but it looks almost hieroglyphic. The spiral on one of your new jackets, the black and white one. You did it in Italy.
Oh yeah, that was a really cool one. That was Marcus Aurelius's column. So if you type in Marcus Aurelius's column on just images, I basically translated like a drawing of this column, just column, yeah. I mean, you're from Rome, you should know this. And then just go on like the first image, and then not first image or whatever, just one of them. Yeah.
So that's the column, the original.
So that right there,
which is
the
absolutely
original
insane.
column, yeah.
How that's carved.
And it's carved. It's like a spiral.
And where is that? It's in Rome, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Have you seen that,
like the
Tommy?
centre of Rome.
You've seen that before, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that's what it's called?
Well, it's just a column of Marcus Aurelius, and
It's-
the Circus Maximus.
Yeah.
Many times.
It's
That's really
just like it's like a battle sort of propaganda thing for when he had his reign in like being the stoic he was as a Roman emperor. But it basically just inspired me, and I was looking through stuff to make a jacket on when I went to Italy, and then that came up as like the one that I was going to do. I just wanted to replicate that one, like a few of them sort of
So
spirals.
did someone
onto the
translate it
jacket.
into a painting?
Well,
I
they
see.
just like, it was like drawn, like I guess like maybe you could type in Marcus Aurelius drawing, and then you could maybe show the like one that I used.
But yeah, even though that's I guess that's a really good one because it's not Renaissance, even though it's from Italy. It's just a transfer of a sculpture. That's quite interesting.
Yeah, transfer
isn't it?
of a sculpture, I guess. The one I used there is the one that's like go over
bottom right, isn't it? Oh no, something similar to that.
It's
That's
not
part
actually,
of it, isn't it?
It's not actually there, but pretty much if you scroll down. Oh, there, look, bottom left, top above. Yeah, that. That's like part of it. It's not that, but it's
It goes
kind
on
of
for ages,
similar.
doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just like a depiction of all the war during his time, and sort of like the sort of how the soldiers like sort of charged through it, and there's loads of like emotional sort of scenes, I guess. But yeah, like you said, it's a sculpture transferred onto a piece of clothing. Maybe if you go on my website, you might be able to see the.
Or transferred into a painting, transferred into a piece of clothing, which is even cooler.
Yeah, there it's that one there. So you can see that one there is like it's the sculpture translated onto the clothing rather than a painting translated onto the clothing. But I made them in Italy. I actually went travelling around Italy. Maybe you could pull my Instagram up and show that, and then we'll move on to something else. But it's just good to showcase.
Me and Jack were both there at the same time.
Me and Max both went out to Italy making clothes. We brought our
Didn't
sewing
actually see each
machines.
other, funny
We
enough.
didn't see each other. Just go that one, yeah.
In Italy at the same time, didn't see you once.
That's not the one. If you go on like
That's New York, isn't it?
Yeah. If you go up a bit. Oh yeah, no, that one. Yeah, that one's good. So I went out and sort of like took loads of inspiration from the places that I was. So I went to Naples, Rome, and Florence, and I pretty much just made free jackets, sewing on park benches, sewing on parks, on walls, on the floor, on logs, and I pretty much just bought
On
a
the
backpack
train?
round with like a train. Yeah. I bought a backpack round, and it had a generator in. If you're wondering what that generator is, it's called the EcoFlow River 2. And I wasn't going to like really say it until I had a sponsor by them, because I really wanted to try find a sponsor with them so they could like, because the problem is
If they're
with them
watching this, you can
batteries-
sponsor the podcast.
Yeah, if you're watching, sponsor me to go around the world making clothes. But the problem is with the traveling and sewing stuff was that like you can't take the battery because the lithium is just too like powerful to go on an airplane. So you'd have to just like buy one of the generators wherever you're going. So I went to New York, bought one. I went to Italy and bought one. So there's two that I paid for one, but there's two that I've owned now, and they've both been bought out where I was going. I went to New York and did the same kind of concept there. You can see that I was sewing.
What
in
did you
Times
do with
Square.
them at the end when you came home?
Well, the New York one went into storage because the guy that brought it for me was the guy who invited me out to the event, and he was just like, I'll cover that. So he covered that and put it into storage after. I think his family member lives in New York or whatever. And then the
Italian one, I left it in the Airbnb.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, which is kind of annoying. but
Free generator for them.
Free generator for them, and it's
They
like
should give you some money back on the.
Absolutely not. We
On the
broke a
apartment.
mirror in the Airbnb, like smashed a mirror, and it was just some cheap like mirror. It was not even like. And listen, I can't like really like argue because we were the ones that broke the mirror, but like she was like, yeah, you've got to send us like €100, and I was like, well,
Yes.
you've just got a €300 like power bank
Generator.
here, and the mirror was worth no more than like €5. But we were there just like, well, you've got the power bank, and then we ended up having to send the money in the end.
You did.
Yeah, but they got like a €300 like power bank. Obviously, they didn't ask for that. It was just because I couldn't take it back to England.
Hmm.
But it was
Why
just
not?
one of them things. Well, why couldn't I take it back to
Yeah.
England? Because it's too powerful to go on the airplane.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like you can't take the batteries on the airplane. So I guess if you're thinking of using like an EcoFlow battery to do the same kind of thing that I did, which is funny because I've been seeing people on TikTok, designers like us, that have like been buying the batteries and doing the sewing outside
cool.
now. Which like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like I'm the pioneer because like maybe someone's thought about it before me, but like I've never seen anyone do this, and I'm very proud of like.
Yeah, it's quite cool how you do that because I've done the hand sewing in those places, but haven't gone through the effort of bringing a whole sewing machine
Actually,
yet.
fuck it, I'm claiming this.
Yeah,
I
claim it,
started
fuck it.
the sewing out and about. I made 3 jackets in Italy and a jacket in New York, and I sewed the whole thing, pattern cut the whole thing, and everything there and then on the street.
You pattern cut outside?
Pattern cut outside.
I didn't
Go on
know
the
that.
Naples one. If you go back onto, yeah, but I mean, yeah, you can pull it up on YouTube. It'd be a good way of looking at it, or you can just see it there. If you go back on the video you were on, I was pattern cutting on literally like. You know, obviously I made the pattern before I went out there, but you can see there I was like pattern cutting. It will come up in a second, but I was pattern cutting on the floor outside of a museum in Naples, and that was kind of what I was. Here, look, you'll see it, just a glimpse of it. Just try and pause the video, like in literally 1
Can you
second.
pause? There you go.
Nearly. There.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Aw.
Keep going. There's another one. Wait for it. It's coming. Wait for it. Is he gonna get it on time? Well, I don't know. Well, this is the wrong video.
Alright, let's move on for that.
Wait. Let me just
we
quickly
don't
just
need to
pause
keep
it
going.
just so I can show the process. Go back off this video. Go on another video, Tommy. And
Everyone's
then,
seen you cut some fabric.
There. Well, we've just missed it. Anyway, basically, I was pattern cutting on the floor in there.
There,
I was pattern
bosh.
cutting on the floor outside of a
Under a plane.
under a plane, outside of a museum, on a hill in Naples, looking at the Vesuvius volcano, whilst I was making a jacket, which was a painting of the Vesuvius volcano. That felt pretty fucking cool.
That is pretty sick.
And I don't know who else can sort of like, not that I'm comparing, but I don't know who else can say they've done that. So to me,
That's pretty crazy, to
I'm
be
going
fair.
to claim that idea.
You
know?
could see the volcano while you're making the jacket?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I had Sam filming and doing all the like back end sort of. I had Sam filming and doing all the back end sort of stuff for that. She was filming all the stuff we were doing. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, I was about to say the next one. What have you learnt this month? What have we learnt?
We've learnt how to sew outside.
Yeah, no, that wasn't this month.
But
You learnt that a few months ago.
I mean, should I go first? I've done a lot of speaking. I think you should go
I don't know if
first.
I haven't actually thought of anything for this one.
We
I've-
don't know what you've learnt this month.
I've learnt a few things, but not. I can't think of one right now.
Fair enough.
I had one earlier, but I can't remember what it was.
The experience in Bristol.
Yeah, but I've already spoke about that as my inspiration.
Yeah.
I don't really want to say that for my learning as well.
But is there anything you've learnt in terms of like finding a new fabric, or like? I mean, you said the other day you like doing the blankets. Maybe
Yeah,
you've
that's
learnt
not
that-
this month though. I've been doing that for a while, but
Yeah.
I guess I've been making stuff out of blankets. Been trying to figure out how to do it the best way. I don't really line them. Well, I lined that one the other day actually,
Yeah.
but they don't need lining. They could be a bit more
I
rough
think
around the
they're kinda like a
edge.
staple piece though. They're like a comfy staple piece. You know?
Yeah, I've only posted one, so they're not too staplish now, but I think they will be. I'm trying to source a lot of blankets at the moment.
Mhm.
Vinted, charity shops. Love buying blankets and curtains and stuff, even if I don't need it.
Definitely.
The scrap store, shout out Dorset Scrap Store.
Shout out Dorset.
They're
Scrap
great. A few quid, you get a few meters
You
of
pay
some
£9.
great fabric.
You get a bin bag of scraps, and you can fill up the whole bin bag of scraps.
Well, you can
Zip.
do the scraps, or you can get the like pre-packaged little rolls of stuff, and it will say how many meters, and they're always like less than a fiver.
Less than a
The
fiver a
other,
metre.
well, before I went on holiday, I got 2 meters of camouflage ball denim. Great print, great denim,
Sublimated.
paid £2. If I was to get that online, it would cost me 50 quid,
Literally.
maybe more. But yeah, £2. Made a pair of jorts. I didn't sell them. I ended up keeping them because it was actually my first pair of jorts. I designed the pattern myself while on holiday, and
yeah, they were cool.
They were cool, but they don't fit great because it was my first try. But I've kept them, and they look cool.
Nice.
I'm gonna remake.
Are they in the studio?
They're at home. I wear them sometimes, but they're a bit uncomfortable because I didn't do the pattern correctly. But I figured out the pattern since I've been home.
I bet it's just that like little.
The front bit, the front bit that goes
Front
under
curve,
the crotch, is mirrored on the back, which is not supposed to be.
Yeah,
the back's
so
supposed to be
it's
a lot bigger of a swoop, which I didn't know. I kind of just mirrored it like it was a front, left and right of a jacket, you know. So
no, I get you.
They don't feel very nice, but like.
But at least you did
fixed
them,
it.
and like you got them cheap fabric.
Cheap fabric, yeah, it's a nice
your
little
scrap
test.
store's amazing. Like I always love finding just different sort of different cool, fun little like fabrics that are just fun. Like
It's great for lining,
got,
great
like,
for pockets.
That wax denim that you found and made that backpack. That's something you've learnt this month, to like do pockets that like can fit a spray can in.
Well, I guess so. Yeah, I designed a pocket that can fit a spray can for custom order. I swapped the custom. Well, that's like, to be fair. Oh, that's what I thought of earlier. I learned how to use my sewing abilities to swap for other goods, because I swapped a bag that I made for my new logo, which I'll be releasing soon. I'll have a video about that on Monday, about the whole process of making the bag, swapping it for my logo. A local graffiti artist called Nurks. You should check out his graffiti. It's really cool. But he's designed me my new logo. He designed an old logo for me, which was this, for a brand I was going to do, for the t-shirt I'm wearing. If you're just listening to this and you can't see it, but go and look him up. Nurks, Nerks. He does great graph.
No, the backpack was actually so good.
It came out really good. Everyone will see it on Monday. The pockets designed for the cans.
Amazing.
I need him to come back in with it so I can get some footage of the cans in the bag, because I didn't actually manage to do that. But I need him to hopefully do that.
We could just come into
this
Curb and do it
weekend
with the cans in Curb. Oh, well, he has the bag.
Yeah. I haven't got a clip of cans in the bag, which is annoying because I've got just a clip of me finishing the bag and then that's it. But it's really cool. It was made out of waxed canvas, which I haven't used before. And I designed it. It can hold 12 cans just on the outside, and then the inside's huge. It can probably hold another 20 cans.
That's so good.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Just many compartments so they're not all blowing up inside or whatever. But
yeah.
Or like you jump over a wall.
But I designed that pattern from scratch as well, and it's my second backpack I've made. First one I've made from scratch. First pattern I think I've made successfully from scratch that's usable.
That's cool.
But yeah, I think bag patterns are the best one to learn to make a pattern, because it doesn't matter how it fits at the end of the day. It doesn't need to fit small or medium or long or cropped or arms are too long or this or that.
It's a bag and
it's a
one
bag
size.
as long as you can put stuff in it and it doesn't fall apart.
Definitely.
It's fine. You can make it as big or small or weirdly shaped as you want
agree.
to.
I think with clothing items it's like kind of different, but with like bags and stuff like that, it is one of them things where you kind of have to you don't have to follow any sort of like
you can completely make it
do
up.
what
It
you
can be
want,
any
like,
shape you want, and then just whack a strap on it.
And I think that's the best when you see the coolest like designed bag on Instagram or whatever, wherever you look at clothing or whatever. I think it looks so fun when the bag's like actually a cool shape rather than just being your like normal shaped bags. I think that's what I'm going to try and do. Like, I think a way that I was thinking about the patterns, obviously we're going to get onto them later, but one cool
Do you need some more water?
yeah, maybe. Basically what I was saying was one thing that's really, really interesting is that like with the A4 patterns, it's very hard to replicate like clothing patterns, because obviously the pattern pieces of like your jackets, your hoodies, your trousers are bigger than A4. So like you're kind of just like you've got to like replicate that onto an A4 bit of paper. So
well, you're taping them together, aren't you? That's
you're taping
patterns.
them together. But what I was saying was the more cool shapes and shaped bags you make, the more people have like as like a more opportunities, more options they have to choose which shape they like, of like patterns, and that's something.
Yeah, definitely, because you can make a bag that's square, circle, has a flap on it. It could be big, small.
That
you
was
can.
a little ramble, but that made sense. In my
Yeah,
opinion.
kind of. Don't know if it made sense to
Basically,
anyone
like
else,
just
but
cool shaped bags are cool, and that's.
sure, there's some people out there that speak Jack language. They can understand.
Anyway, let's move on to the next segment that Tommy's got.
I think the next segment. Well, no, the next one's an ad, isn't it? But we haven't got an ad. Do you wanna?
Well, yeah. Before the next
You can say a
segment,
little ad.
here is an ad.
I'm gonna.
Most people look at a sewing machine and think, I don't know how to use that. And then they never try. But here's the secret. You don't need to know everything. You don't need a fashion degree. You don't need some £300 course that emails you once a week until you forget to cancel it. Just need something you actually make, something you'd actually wear, and something that makes sense. I made these patterns for people like that. People like me when I first started. Printable on A4 paper, no weird software, you can cut them out, tape them together, and you've got a proper pattern. Each one comes with a full video walkthrough. I sew it with you, there's no guesswork. If you've got that machine and it's still waiting, this might be the sign you've been putting off. Comment pattern and I'll send you the full details. Let's finally put that machine to work. I'll catch you later.
We are back off of the commercial break. The commercial break kind of like interesting because I want to do them so they're like friends commercials and stuff that you'll find interesting too. Maybe one day we'll get a sponsor to the podcast, which kind of
Sponsor would be good. I reckon any sponsors that are watching, give us a message, or even any other creatives that maybe have something cool coming up, like Jack's Patterns or like a new T-shirt. You know, just something cool like that. Who's your friend that does the
Max with the Sashiko stencils.
If he's watching, get him. He can make an ad. Anyone really. Mura Studios. If you've got the new beanies or T-shirts,
beanies and a little video.
Let us know.
Video, some 3D stuff you want to throw in.
Yeah, just for a bit of fun. Yeah, just send us a little ad.
No,
we'll back in there. Back in this one or the next one.
Right. Swiftly moving on from the advert.
This is Tommy's half, isn't it?
This is Tommy's half of the podcast. He's prepared some games for us, and essentially we're just gonna go through these games.
Tommy's going to explain the games. We might need your mic for a moment.
Yeah, definitely.
To explain the game.
I'm going to remove my mic from this stand.
You can pass it back and forth.
I don't know if I actually can.
Okay, but waiting on that, because like if I explain it, I would not be able to be on this screen.
Well, Jack can hold it to your face.
What? I need to move over there.
Well, you just hold the mic. Oh, fuck you know.
Can't you just move the stand?
Just move the stand, yeah.
Yeah, so you guys at home can play along with us on these games.
My camera's not even on.
Well, great.
Has people seen what you look like yet in the podcast?
I think at the beginning it worked, and now it's not on anymore. Yeah, we're back. Yeah, it's so bright, bro.
But you're just gonna have to tell what it is.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna swing this around. So
Tommy did a little mogging face there. Do you see that?
What?
As soon as the camera went back on, he went.
Hold on, I'm trying to set the mic.
He did a little jawline check and a little pout.
Jesus Christ, so we definitely need another mic for next time.
Yeah, we'll find one. I think I might have one at home. We'll figure out what to plug it into and that. It'll be fine. Is that tripod not even doing anything? I thought, what happened to your phone being on there?
What? No, it's really not doing anything there at the moment.
Should we just...
I guess so.
Hold on. There you are. So, Tommy's got the mic now. Right. This is like another intro. I cut it down.
Okay. So I'm actually going to be back. Okay, so... Ennis.
But you just explain the game, and then the rest of it I'll turn the mic back round, because we can't both share the mic.
Yeah, I know. So hi guys, I'm Tommy. I'm the guy who's been behind the screens.
He's our Jamie.
All the angles. No, I'm not Jamie. And as Jack said earlier, I'm here to present a few games. And first off, we're gonna start with the celebrity outfits of the week, and then move on to another.
Is this one a game or is this more of a?
This one is more of a discussion. The first one is more of a discussion, like me explaining what I found, and also want to get your opinions, obviously, about these outfits, and we can rank them at the end, I think, in order which ones we prefer the most. I put them here a bit transparent, so you can't really see them properly.
Yeah, I can't. Are they going to be celebrities we know?
What?
Will we know? Will we recognise these celebrities?
100%.
Okay, so they're not like.
No, it's not Guess Who.
It's not TikTok.
No,
TikTokers.
it's not something like that. And after that, there's going to be another game which we're gonna get into later. So let's start with the celebrity outfits of the week.
How many have we got?
Right, let me pull this mic back round, and then just come and move.
I think that's better.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll move, just come sit with me, and or
I think that's way better if I move over there. But like, I need to move the laptop as well because I need to change.
Well, be careful though.
You can't move it.
the mic.
And let's turn the DJI around, I think.
Yeah, let's move the DJI a little bit, so you can see both of us.
Yeah. bit more towards you.
There we go. Yeah, I can see it from here. That's fine.
Okay. Ooh.
Put the mic in the middle.
Move up a little bit.
Don't-
You
don't
can sit
kiss.
where you're sat and I'll just move up.
Yeah, perfect. So we're here today. We're starting with the celebrity outfits of the week. The first one.
Let's just wait and say that we don't know what these are going to be.
Yeah, me and Jack have
So
no
yes,
clue who they are.
I prepared these without them knowing, so they're not gonna know anything coming up later from this point on until the end of this presentation. So I say that we can start. Let's go with the first one, and it's gonna be Young Thug at the Summer Smash, basically a festival in the US. It's quite iconic because it's the first appearance in a performance from Young Thug in over 1,200 days, mostly for the simple fact that he's been involved in his RICO case with his music label.
Prison.
Did you
Damn.
follow at all like the
Yeah,
the,
of course.
the
I
tribunal?
watched all the
I have no idea about
court
it.
dates, all the court stuff.
So do you know what I mean if I say truly humble under God? Because like
No.
okay, so basically his lawyer they came up with something so funny. So his name is Young Thug, and they came up with an acronym for Thug, and they said it's instead of being something inciting crime, it's truly humble under God, THUG.
Right, okay.
So that was quite funny, and the internet kind of exploded with that. And I definitely say that the main points of this fit, I mean the highlights, are definitely the boots,
Are we saying this?
the glove, and makeup. But like, yeah, I mean, I kind of want you guys to like give your opinion on this fit. What you think?
So is he doing a Michael Jackson with that glove? Has he just got one on?
Yeah, he's got only one on. I'd say yeah. You can see his other hand doesn't have it.
So he's doing a kind of Michael Jackson sort of what would you call it? Not a reference.
Yeah, I
would
mean,
you say?
first off, I'm just going to go out there and say that, like, for Young Thug, this is actually a really sick fit. Because, like, Young Thug has worn crazier stuff, dresses, this, that, the other. The dresses are still cool, but, like, this is quite a clean outfit for Young Thug, I think.
I think it might be a bit. Well, I don't know. I was going to say a bit too chill, but I think the glove kind of brings it back. You
This
know,
is cool for Young Thug, I think. I mean,
I think the outfit without the glove is a bit boring, but I think the glove kind of gives it that sort of almost like he's a character. You know, that's like very iconic sort of.
yeah, I mean, what do
glove
you
to
think
wear.
of it, Tommy?
No, 100%. I definitely agree with that, and I think that especially the level of makeup, which you can't see from this photo, but like he had it like around his mouth, around his eyes, you can see they're way darker than his obvious like skin tone. So
Has he got heels on?
yeah, I mean they're boots. I put them like as a highlight
Okay.
of the fit because
Yeah,
like
they're
they're plain white. It obviously matches the t-shirt, and also like the striped trousers, which is yeah, very like a bit of a crazy selection in my opinion, but nothing surprising considering Young Thug and the amount of runways he's attended. He is deep.
Do you know
involved in
anything
fashion.
about who made the clothes?
Yeah, do you know anything about
Not
the
at all
clothes?
for like any of
Okay.
the next ones. Sorry guys.
Well, no,
It's okay. I think it's a good fit. I think that for Young Thug, this is like quite like chill.
Yeah,
You know
it
what I
is
mean?
quite chill. But I don't know what is this Summer Smash. I haven't heard of it. I've been seeing it a few times
What,
recently.
the festival?
Is this
I
the
don't
first
know.
time it's
What,
been a
is it
thing?
festival?
Yeah, so it's a music festival. Young Thug obviously was.
This
was
isn't the
there.
first time though.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure actually. I'm not involved in the festival. I heard it like I haven't heard it much before, but I think
I've
it's
never
quite
heard
big.
of it. Yeah. I've
And
never heard
Don
of it.
Toliver, Yeet.
Yeah, I
Ken
saw they
Carson.
skydived into it.
Yeah, and there's actually a beef going on after this festival between Ken Carson and Don Toliver with Yeet. Like they're both together. They performed together actually, Yeet and Don Toliver, which was actually a crazy performance in my opinion. And they're beefing right now. But also, interesting thing is that Young Thug brought out Travis Scott for a couple of songs they obviously shared together in their
Nice.
musical career, which is quite interesting. in my
They're
opinion.
OGs together.
100%. So on to the next fit.
Well,
Verdicts of that fit for me.
Should we
I-
rate it out of 10?
Rate it out of 10. Let's rate it out of 10. I'd say I'd say it's a good like 7
Yeah,
out of 10.
I was going to say 7. I was going to say 7.
We pretty.
I mean, if without the glove, I would have given it like a 4 because it's quite boring. But
what do you rate?
I think the glove is quite cool. I think the glove kind of saves it a bit.
Yeah, I'd definitely say like 6.5. I'd give like a bit in between because it's a bit crazy and obviously singing on stage. Not that I obviously saw on stage, but like from the videos, it kind of looks sick.
I
say
think next time
definitely-
it would be good to know what the stuff is.
yeah, maybe it'd be cool. To
Oh, like a deconstruction of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you
that'd be
can,
good
if
for
you
next
can't,
time.
or-
Because it'd be cool to find out like who made the glove. You know, is it?
100%. I feel like the next outfit though is gonna be like the most poorly rated on the list.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go.
I brought it out because I didn't really like it and I thought it was a bit crazy, but yeah, let's go. So
Let's do it.
Next one is Hailey
Oh
Bieber.
god.
I found like this photo was obviously like all of these outfits were, by the way, like picked like from the last week or like last few days.
Okay, nice.
So all of
Yeah,
these
that's
outfits
good.
are very recent. Like this is what I want to like try and keep this momentum for
Nice.
the whole
Yeah,
next
yeah.
episodes. So
Well, I mean, I don't know, but like, yeah, I don't know what she's.
I mean, it's very just like mum
It's just
mum
like
outfit.
mum core, you know.
mum
yeah, but
core.
like, I don't think my mum would wear that bag. That looks like more of a Pandora like little gift bag that you would.
What is it made out of?
I
I can't see
think
from
the bags are
here.
the issue. I think it's the like half leggings with the like
Polka dots.
sandals.
And the sandal with the
tiny.
tiny heel. Have you noticed that? Have you seen that on the back?
Yeah, with the tiny heel on the
Yeah.
sandal. That's kind of crazy.
That's just an ankle roll waiting to happen, I think.
Heels, flip flops. That is kind of a crazy thing, isn't it? Heel, flip flops.
But fair enough, I guess. I think the thing is with fashion these days is that everyone's trying to just like do something that hasn't been done. And when
Is
you
this a
got-
fashion fit though, or is this
Well, I
I'm
think-
going to the shops and I just happen to be bumped into paparazzi?
Yeah, but when you're Hailey Bieber, I think it's still like you walk. Like when you got that much money, I think it's kind of interesting to just
Every
like,
day's
throw on,
fashion
like,
day.
Every day's fashion day, you know.
Yeah, I guess
How
so.
can you
To be fair, if I had a bit more money, I,
she's
would
a model,
be the
isn't
same.
she? She's going to be wearing something like.
Is that what she does? Is
I
it?
think so. I don't know really.
Oh,
like,
she's a
maybe.
model and also a great businesswoman because she recently sold her makeup brand Rode for $1 billion.
Wow.
So
There we are.
yeah, founded I think in 2022
Billionaire.
or 2023. Actually, quite a recent brand, and it went super viral. And she just sold it for $1 billion. So
Girl
Big up
power.
Hailey Bieber.
big up, big up.
So wait, what are we rating that one?
The
What are we rating
outfit.
this out of
I
10?
mean, it's hard. It's hard because it's a woman's outfit. Like I wouldn't wear it. That'd be one for me.
I
But
don't
like,
know, I'm trying to
I
think
mean, it's just like a free, innit? It's just like a standard
good old
woman's
free.
outfit, maybe.
yeah. I mean, the top's alright.
There's nothing horrific about it. I
I'm
wouldn't
not sure
say.
about the polka dots.
Yeah, like it's not great, but
Yeah, but I mean
if I saw someone in the street wearing that, I wouldn't be like, oh, what the hell?
wouldn't be like,
I'd
"What's
just be
going on
like,
here?"
oh, I wouldn't take any notice. You
Yeah.
know, a free, very standard.
yeah, it does the job.
Yeah, I'd say a 3 as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the next one's gonna be a bit more interesting, I would say.
Let's just
So-
keep the mic there.
Yeah, let's go into an actor now, and a movie that is actually being released today. We're talking about Brad Pitt.
Brad
the
Pitt.
F1 movie premiere. It's now
Okay.
in cinemas.
Well, that sounds
So,
like a good movie.
This photo was taken at the recent premiere at the beginning of this week in New York, which
Mhm.
explains kind of the outfit. I'd say the outfit is actually quite, I mean, very New Yorkish.
I think it looks sick.
It was just
That's
elegant.
very cool.
I think the emerald color really does it for me. It's
Yeah,
really,
the green.
really sick.
Green's my favorite color. Every shade of it, really.
Yeah,
And I think is the suit a bit green? Is it a dark green
No,
as
no,
well?
It's emerald. Like the whole suit is emerald color. So like.
Well, the shirt's different color to
yeah,
the.
There's like white and inside is.
Oh, I'd
green.
say yeah. That's more of a mint, isn't it?
And
That.
I'd say
I think this is a very strong.
Yeah,
Strong.
I'm not a big suit guy, but like that, there's things about that make it very quite unique. I think
I like this a lot.
the color, the fact he's not wearing a tie. I like the way he's unbuttoned his
Yeah,
shirt, and the
unbuttoned his
glasses. Glasses are very. I don't know
brings
what the word.
back that kind of like.
Almost feels like a pilot. You know the glasses. You know,
Yeah.
it's very army almost feel to
Them
it.
glasses are kind of like old Brad Pitt in like Fight Club or something.
Mm.
Like kind of
Exactly.
like old school Brad Pitt.
I do think Brad
Right.
Pitt's got a good style.
No, he definitely does. And okay, before I move on to the next segment, what do you guys rate this fit?
I'm rating this an 8.
I'm rating this an 8. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah, I'll probably go like for 8.5.
It's very
I
smart.
like the big lapel too on the.
The only
shirt,
reason
like-
it's not higher is because it is simple.
Yeah.
Like it is a suit, but it's a good one and it looks
Nice.
great.
I like what you said. You said it was very fashionable because we're gonna move on to the next thing, which is him appearing on the GQ, obviously the cover, around a month ago, I think. And in here, like he looks like the lumberjack final boss.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You can clearly
This looks
see
like a Dickies advert.
Yeah, it does.
exactly, and like you can see his style is completely different. But one thing that I really want to put a bit of a highlight on is the leather boots. The leather boots because, especially in this case, they are being actually quite talked about quite a lot. These Saint Laurent boots, and they're even being called by Vogue as the boots of the summer.
Boots of the summer, they'll be a bit hot, won't they? I'm not wearing them this
Boots of the
summer.
yeah,
I can barely wear my low tops at the moment. It's fucking boiling.
So as you can see, photos of Marc Jacobs and Pedro Pascal.
That
wearing
Pedro Pascal one looks absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
that looks
ridiculous.
terrible.
Like,
With the suit, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, I don't know about
If he's
that.
got a stylist, then they need to be fired.
No, 100%.
And if not, then he just doesn't
I
know
think there is a
what to
huge
wear.
marketing campaign happening behind these boots. But how much would you guys guess these boots actually costed?
I mean, I'd pay 20 quid for them.
I'd pay
and not
nothing
wear
for
them.
and I wouldn't wear them.
But
Right.
well, I'm guessing. Wait, who are they made by?
Saint Laurent.
Saint Laurent. I'm guessing 800, 850. I
You're
guess.
very far off. So as we move on to the
What?
next bit, we can
5,000.
see
It's high fashion, isn't it? Of course.
$4,500.
I thought 850 was quite a lot though.
So it's the over-the-knee Joe tie-high boots. and I found it quite interesting because I found on a Brad Pitt photo, obviously GQ cover.
The Brad Pitt looked cool. That was good. It styled well with the
Would
sort of
you say that
workwear
because
vibe. Let's
he
go.
can
Yeah,
go back?
like with the sort of, it almost feels like workwear. He's what? Is he by a train? Is he leaning on a train
Yeah, I know,
carriage?
like,
What is
Like
that?
in the mountains, I guess, just like
I
heavy
can't-
work.
But like, what is that he's leaning on? Is that just a wall? I
Yeah,
can't.
just a wall, just a little.
I don't know. I feel
Yeah,
like it
it's
feels
good.
very workwear sort of vibes. It looks like he's a lumberjack, as you said. Like he's, and I feel like boots like that would be very useful if you were cutting down trees in like a swampy forest or something. You know, up to your thigh. So it kind of goes. But
I like it. I think it's cool.
I think it's cool. That outfit's cool. I'm giving that
I
outfit
think-
a 7. I'm giving that outfit
A 7, yeah. I think 7 for me too. I think the boots are an
The
absolute
boots
zero.
are a 2, just because they look cool in that. You could probably style them good, like in that photo,
What's
but in
going
the
on
other
there?
photos,
What's going on? It's like, they're like wellies.
that looks
but, like,
terrible. That
they're
looks
like
really bad.
Wellington boots, but like with like platform and kind of.
And
like,
people are wearing them with blazers and ties.
Yeah, I don't
That
know.
looks bad.
Yeah.
That one on the right is just so
They're trying to
bad.
make them elegant. In my opinion, doesn't fit an elegant.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Not a fan of the boots.
What did I rate them, or what we rate in the outfit?
What are you rating Brad Pitt's outfit?
7, yeah, 7.
Yeah, I'd go for a 7.
Yeah,
as well.
I think it's quite cool.
And now we're gonna move on to our last celebrity, and obviously, as I said, I want to keep it like as recent as possible.
Mhm.
So we're going to go to the NBA MVP, final MVP, and also recent NBA champion, SGA. So really talked about player. He's really stylish. He's from Canada, Toronto, and I really like this fit. Actually, obviously taking a bit of a prestige locker room kind of like closet sort of
Mhm.
area with his trophy. Obviously, the NBA champion with the Oklahoma City Thunders. Really great game. It went down to like the last possible game in the.
Who is this?
franchise.
I'm
this
might
is-
get slated for asking that, but I'd have no idea who
So
that
it's
is.
like pretty much the biggest player in the NBA right now.
Really? What, bigger than like LeBron or
I
like
mean,
Steph Curry or anyone
not
like that?
like in that way.
Is that a flex?
But like he won the championship this year and also the most valuable player, which
is that a
means like.
flex?
MVP.
Let's say so. Wait, what? What is a flex? What?
What's this?
What? That is a flex.
What are
this
we looking
guy's
at?
got Shay in his DMs, bro.
What, him?
What the
Just-
hell?
yeah, he just-
That is
he bought
crazy.
some trousers for me a few years ago.
There you go. Well, yeah, Bosh.
That is insane. So this.
Show
guy-
the camera.
No, I
Oh,
don't think that's. But that's insane. Nah,
Yeah,
actually.
he bought a pair of
congrats,
like back in the day. I did a pair of like patchwork puzzle jeans, and he bought them.
So we know this guy has good clothes.
bro. This guy's a good.
He has a very good understanding of one-of-one clothing brands.
That's
He-
good.
He
Well-
shops a lot of one-of-one from what I can see.
Well, I
a
like
lot
him.
of
then.
like the NFL and like the NBA. Like they'll always have like photographers when they're walking to buses and stuff, and he's always been one that's had like an amazing sort of like fit
Yeah,
every
nice.
time.
Do you know
he
if he's got
buys-
any one-on-ones in this photo? Or
He's got a load of I don't know
Probably
in that
jewelry,
photo.
definitely
but-
jewelry.
them shoes look one-on-one. They're on the left.
Well,
I think they're the
They're
coolest
like-
thing in
well,
the
they're
photo.
like- they're
I
like-
got a
they
question
look
for
like
you
drapes,
guys actually
don't they?
about these
Yeah.
shoes because they're his own shoes which are gonna
Alright.
release in full.
Okay,
obviously
cool.
in,
Is that a zip in them?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it looks
I'm
about
guessing
it,
they're
that's
basketball
about it.
shoes,
They're,
right?
they're the Nike ones.
I haven't seen.
So I'm actually I want you to guess which brand they made in partnership with.
I'd if I was gonna guess, I'd say they look like the.
I'm
what
going.
them-
I'm going with Reebok.
I'm gonna say it's way more difficult than you guys think.
Okay, well, just off the cuff, I'd probably say like my first guess would be Nike, because you know them ones that have the zip. in the
Yeah,
middle
yeah, I
with the
know what you
circle?
mean.
It
Yeah,
looks
well,
like
they've
a
done that
bag.
on a few shoes, haven't they?
Yeah.
I've seen that pair of
It's
Nike
like
5s.
Nocta, kind of like a Drake vibe.
Yeah, they
but-
give
What-
a Drake sort of Nocta vibe. But I think if I was to actually guess the like brand, probably like
Or On. Maybe I'll say On.
no, I'd probably say like
I thought
I'd be going
Reebok.
the direction of like K-Swiss or something. But then think like
Um,
basketball brand.
Yeah, so big.
I don't know.
brands.
Is it a basketball brand?
I'd say yeah, they definitely have like
Converse
partnerships
then.
with
Converse.
Converse.
It is.
Yeah, nice.
Converse. They don't look like Converses, but yeah, that kind of gave it away with the basketball brand. That's cool though, because they
Why
are
does
the
it
original
K-Swiss?
basketball shoes. Converse.
Yeah, cool.
So that's a cool person
That's
to do
really
it with.
cool.
Well, cool brand to do it
I
with.
really like these shoes. Obviously, I'm big into.
What are they made of?
get
Foam?
The NBA right now, no, because they're releasing in autumn. But I want to get them. They don't even cost that much, and they look sick.
Are they
Yeah,
foam?
they're cool. Are they 3D printed?
They
look like it.
You can
They
see
look like they're made of the
ones
same
I'm
stuff
wearing
as
right
the Yeezy slides.
I think we need to stop
Yeah.
speaking over each other.
Yeah.
here. Yeah, probably.
They look like they're made out of the Yeezy slide foam.
But I think that they're very much like 3D printed vibe. They
Mm.
look like it, but they're probably not.
Probably like very foamy. I mean, I really want to put my hands on them for sure. Like when they release, probably me and the boys going hoop on the courts, like I'm doing with my
There we are.
brothers, but like
Yeah,
especially the white.
me and Jack will roll our ankles if we let that go.
The white colorway, obviously.
You're making us sound like old. We're not. Old.
Yeah, we do roll our ankles.
I mean,
we
compared to
roll
you,
our
you're kinda
ankles, but we're
unks.
not old.
Yeah, you're unks.
I'm a
We're not
skateboarder and Jack. I'm a skateboarder and
Come on
Jack's
then,
just
Okay,
decrepit.
but going back on the fit, I think this one is my favorite. I'm probably gonna rate it a 9.5.
I mean, it's definitely colours I like it's like browns and blacks. You know, white trainers look good. It's clean. It's a bit boring, but it is nice. So I'm gonna say I'll give it a 7.5. It's probably the most the outfit I'd wear the most.
Yeah,
I'd
I'd give it a 7 because I probably wouldn't wear. I don't know about that leather cap.
Is that what it? I can't really see it.
I don't know. I can't really.
It looks
see
suede or leather or
looks like
something.
suede
Yeah.
leather.
Are they leather trousers?
Yeah.
But he has very
Hmm.
good fashion sense, so maybe I'll give him an 8 just for that
Yeah.
because he's bought my trousers.
I'm still shocked that this guy had shit in his DMs, bro. Like,
Well, I didn't expect you to pull this guy out.
that's the craziest flex.
I'm
Yeah.
not really into basketball, so
But
it
he's
doesn't
the
really
Yeah, I didn't
he's
know he
the
was.
like biggest player in the league. I mean, not biggest, but like most valuable according to.
And his name's
statistics.
Shay?
Yeah, he's Shay.
Okay.
Gil-
I've never heard of him,
Alexander. That's his full name.
Maybe I need
Yeah.
to know more about
I mean, yeah,
basketball.
it's a bit of a more like he became more popular recently.
Okay,
So
fair enough.
definitely not like Shaquille O'Neal or LeBron,
Mhm.
those kind of things.
Mm.
But now I think it's time to move on to the next game. I made a little decent graphic for it. Runway or run away. I think I spelled it wrong, but anyway.
Yeah, you just put runaway twice.
That's gonna be fixed for the next episode. It's a little, yeah, I guess.
Is that up on the screen? Can
Yeah,
people
yeah,
see that?
yeah.
Yeah. You can see Tommy's spelling.
No, it's gonna be fixed by the next episode. I can guarantee you guys. But we're gonna start with so I'm going to explain the rules of this game. Obviously, I'm gonna pull up a piece of gum, and my boys here, my amazing hosts, are going to be telling me which brand they're from. They have two options. One that is more like a high fashion, and one which is more of like a cheap fashion. So like.
Wait, so we
Prada.
have to guess if it's cheap or
Yes,
expensive?
I'm going to put like two brands, and you need to choose which one of them two it is from.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Okay, let's start with the first one. I'm gonna keep a tally. This is gonna
So-
be competitive throughout the podcast, so choose very carefully.
So,
Okay,
so can we
okay.
just give one definitive answer and then the other one gives one definitive answer just to.
I guess we can draw in the end.
yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, but like, are we doing this against each other or are we doing it together? That's what.
No, against each other.
Okay, go on then.
Okay,
But like, we can't remember. Let's try not to speak over each other.
Yeah. Well, we'll take it in turns.
don't get too excited.
I'll do. You go first on one. I'll go first on the other.
Alright, go then.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Okay, so we have to guess if that's Primark or
Yes, the
Valentino.
shirt in general.
It's very hard to. It's very hard because I can't see it close up. But I.
Are we on about the jacket here?
Yes.
I'll let you go first, Jack.
Valentino.
I'm gonna go with Primark on this one.
You lock in.
I'm locking in on Primark.
So, Max is right.
Yes.
Oh,
It is
work.
Primark, and unfortunately we have covered it here in the graphics. It's cutting up a bit the screen, but I think we can sort of.
Do you not give it away from me
Oh,
more?
wait,
Is
we
the
need to
model?
deselect this because I think it's recording that screen, and then it needs to just deselect that.
I think we've done that for like the whole podcast.
Oh, well.
To be honest. But we'll see afterwards.
I think it was the model that gave it away more than anything.
To be honest, I thought the model was going to be make it Valentino. I don't
Really?
Well, retail price obviously £30.
Yeah, Jesus.
Exactly. So I was looking down on the website earlier.
Nice work.
It kind of looks like the jacket. That's not a real photo. It kind of looks like he just was wearing whatever, and then they photoshopped that jacket into existence.
Yeah, kind of.
Do you know what I mean? The actual jacket, that pocket doesn't look. It looks off because it doesn't fold into the seam of his arm. You see what I mean? It looks like just a solid square.
Uh-huh.
But under that pocket is
Yeah,
is
that's
like
true.
the seam of his
Oh, yes.
armpit. It looks like I think they probably do that a lot in these because
Yeah, maybe they've just
they make
realised-
so many items. How could you
No, yeah, I
possibly
get that.
how could you possibly take photos of all of them on all the models? They probably just Photoshop half of them
They
into
probably
existence.
still do though, but like
A lot
I
of
don't
them,
know,
but-
that does look a bit fake. I get what
I
you
think that looks quite fake.
Yeah.
So 1-0 for Max. We're
Oh,
on the
Max.
next item.
What did you say was wrong? What were you recording?
We just had one of the screens selected and it had some sort of like dimensions on it. So I'm sorry for anyone who's watching. This is our first podcast and we will get better.
Yeah, of course. From next time we'll definitely have better improvements. But on to the second one. Oh, wait. I need to go back here. Click it and go. So, which one do you think this one is? Obviously some.
Can we zoom in on it at all?
Not sure. Yeah, we can.
Yeah, get a zoom going. This kind of looks like Max garments. Not in like a bag of, you know. Yeah,
So-
just
Better not be
dressed
Urban
up.
Outfitters.
So obviously the two options here are Balenciaga
An
or-
Urban Outfitters.
I can't tell. Is that like creases or is that like pockets and stuff? I can't really tell. Oh, it's rips.
Yes, these are all rips.
Oh.
I'm
I'm going with
go out,
Balenciaga for this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out and like lock it in Balenciaga. because
Yeah, I think it looks,
that-
even though it's ripped, I think it looks,
Wait, try not to do
bit
that,
higher
I feel
quality.
Like it's vibrating this. Sorry.
I think it
Sorry.
looks higher quality. Like like the rips and stuff. I don't know. I feel like they look more thought about than if Urban
I
Outfitters
don't
would
think
do
Urban
it.
Outfitters is dropping something like that to the high street. I
Mm.
think people would complain too much, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right, both of you, because it is
Nice.
Balenciaga and the
£2
retail price,
grand.
which is covered in the thing, but it's 1,150.
Gee.
I do quite like them, but then I think like the price tag for something that's shredded.
I think if
is
you
pretty
have
crazy.
like so much money, and like I'm not saying that I'd go out and buy that because I wouldn't, but like if you had the money and you wanted for a brand or whatever, then be my guest. You know what I mean? It's just that upper higher echelon of people that just want to like
Yeah.
spend, you know. But I wouldn't do it. But yeah, I kind of get it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
I think it's better than fast fashion. Well, it is fast fashion in a way, but it's much better than Primark because they're not going to be producing too many of them because there's not enough people that are willing to pay £2 for them.
Yeah, I mean,
Whereas if Urban Outfitters released them, they'd release like 1 million pairs and they'd just be all in the bin by next year.
no, realistically speaking, they're very good looking garments, in my opinion, but obviously they're just sort of a price. I'd wear these,
Mm.
obviously.
Oh yeah, I'd buy them. I'd buy them.
So on to the next one. The next one's going to be a little more funny than the ones we've had so
let's
far.
go.
What do you think, guys?
Is that the only view you got of them?
Yeah, I mean, I can zoom on it. What do you think? Is it Primark, Balenciaga, my grandpa's old slippers?
I reckon Primark.
I reckon Balenciaga again on this one.
Balenciaga for you and Primark for you.
Yeah, yeah.
It is Balenciaga.
Oh.
Nice work.
It is £595 retail price.
Just
So what's
that
this?
bit of
Five,
fucking
five,
luck.
3-2 is it now? I think
It
I.
is
Three
a
two.
it's a 3-1.
No, because I got
You got only the previous one correct.
yeah 3-1.
3-1.
You're
Oh,
right,
you're
yeah.
getting smashed.
2-1.
No, you got all of them.
No, I've got all.
You got all of them correct. Oh wow.
He's a master of this game. We're gonna make it harder next time.
No, you do. Yeah, yeah.
Alright.
Not for Jack though. Make it easy for
What are
Jack.
some opinions on this, boys?
Opinions on that? It's hard to tell what it is. Yeah, it's just I know it's a slider or a slipper or something.
But I
but-
don't know what my opinion of that is. I think it's the same thing everyone else is doing with their 3D printing, like
Mm.
3D printing slippers. Like everyone's doing it at the moment, and they're just like mass made from China. Like I
Load
don't
of
know,
rubbish,
maybe there's
really.
something about this, I don't know. Is there anything interesting?
I see there's some sort of design on the front, but I can't tell from this angle what it
Yeah, I mean,
is,
it's
and I'm
supposed-
sure it's not anything that interesting.
It's supposed to be a double B, which would have given away their logo.
Ah, it's a
that's
different
why I
side.
chose this angle specifically.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Well, that's I don't know. It's just boring. It probably costs them pennies to make, and they're selling it for £600.
It's
It's a
just
bit. That's a ridiculous one. Like the last one was quite stylish. This is just stupid.
It's just that Kanye core where they try and make things as cheap as possible, but they're not really doing the Kanye vibe where they're trying to sell it for cheap. They're just kind of just keeping it at their stupid prices. and
Yeah.
It's just a bit of rubber. I don't know. I kind of like all, opinions aside of like Kanye. It's kind of cool that he's like producing clothes and like putting them at like a specific price that's available for everyone
Mm.
to get, and like cutting manufacturing costs by doing
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
the like one team t-shirts and stuff. But
Yeah, although like his most recent T-shirt was obviously talked about quite a lot because they had
yeah, I
quite
mean,
a-
Yeah.
fuck that t-shirt. I'm
Yeah.
talking more about like the.
yeah, no, absolutely. He's in general as a brand.
I mean, I don't agree with anything he's doing at the moment.
Absolutely
Just
not.
saying, the one team t-shirt's cool.
Swiftly moving on from
Swiftly moving
this.
on to
Moving
our,
on.
what is it, like fourth garment? So
Yeah, how many slide? How many? Six, okay,
Six
cool.
also, so we've got
So
three
we're
more to
halfway
go.
through.
Theoretically, if
You
you
could
get
catch
them all
up.
wrong,
Then
you
I
could
win.
overtake them. Yeah, and if you get them all right, so let's go on to the next one. We're talking specifically here about the trousers, so I'm going to zoom in on them, and you need to tell me whether they are Loro Piana or Zara. Are you guys familiar with Loro Piana?
No,
No.
no, I've never heard of
It's
it.
like a very, I'd say, really elegant, super expensive Italian brand.
Can you compare it to another brand we might know?
Yeah, I mean, like Loro Piana trousers like this could go up for like £3,000-4,000.
Wow.
They're really insane. So
Well, have you given it away there saying that?
I'm saying just
Well,
like
let
it's
me
like a
see the
similar
shoes
style.
and the other stuff he's wearing, and then. I'll lock
Yeah,
them
we need
up.
to take a good look at the guy. He looks quite smart.
What's the options? Primark or?
No, it's a Zara. or
Oh,
Loro
Zara.
Piana.
Oh, that could be a Zara.
Yeah, it could be a
That
Zara.
Could be a Zara model. We've kind of got to lock this in.
Wait, zoom back in on the trousers. I'm saying Zara.
I'm gonna say Zara too.
And boys are both correct.
Bosh. Yeah, I don't think they were interesting enough, and the belt looks really cheap. Like the
I
belt,
don't
like
think the interesting is like the point. I think it's
no, not
genuinely
interesting,
just
but
the
like,
model
but I
photo.
couldn't spot anything like with the pattern that was like intricate or like thought about. Like, if something's £4,000 or £5,000, I'm sure they would have had a bit of a better pattern. And then like the waistband, that belt, the hardware looks quite cheap on it.
I mean, I can pull them up later, but I can tell you that Loro Piana does not look really far away from this.
But I just feel like it looks like that. But that hardware looks cheap, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So like £24 for our viewers because they can't see that it's cut out a bit, but yeah, it's really. It's a really decent price for what you're getting. I think actually
£24, yeah, I think
they
it's
look
decent.
pretty good, honestly, on the model as well. It's something I would wear, so I might actually
I'm not
consider
big
it.
on Zara, but they are nice.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of cool.
I mean,
Okay.
it's good for like, say you suddenly got a wedding tomorrow or something, and you don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Zara, buy a pair of trousers for £24. It's good,
100%.
but I feel like people that are just copying this and throwing it in the bin.
Exactly.
That's where you go wrong, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
If I was to buy something from Zara, I'd make sure that
You
it's
keep-
my style and I'm going to keep it for good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't really think there's anything wrong from purchasing from like these companies. It's just like whether you're the sort of person to keep buying loads and loads of it. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
they're
you could buy something off Temu and use it every day. As long as it's a functioning thing. I don't agree with all the back end stuff, like like how much they're importing into countries, like how much, like, there's so much to it. But it's just like, I mean, if you're buying something, then like one thing because you like it, that's the only place you can buy it, like something off Temu or whatever. I don't
Yeah,
think
that's
it's
fair enough,
necessarily
yeah.
that bad. But
No, I agree.
Okay,
anyway, next one.
Next one.
let's go. So, these ones specifically, these pair of jorts, I want you to tell me if they are from Diesel or Louis Vuitton.
What's that tag at the back? Have you blacked that out? Or is it?
And what's that tag on the pocket?
Yeah. What's that thing on the pocket?
I'm
Can
not
we?
going to zoom in because
Okay.
I'm not sure if I've actually
Well, I'm going to say with Pharrell's direction at the moment, my guess is it'll probably be LV. Just because it's skater vibes, but I'm locking in LV. But they're very diesel vibes.
I really wanna-
Fading, so I
You don't know what that orange thing is in the pocket?
He does, he's just not going to zoom in.
Yeah, but will that give it away? That
I'm not
orange?
sure, but I don't want to risk it.
I feel like.
It does look kind of like diesel fading.
Yeah, I think a
denim
diesel
work.
with the fading, but Louis Vuitton had the money to do anything really, don't they? They could just fade a million pair of jeans if they want to.
It depends really on what you guys want to lock in as an answer.
This one's
I'm going
hard
to lock in diesel.
because they're both. The thing is, this one is the only one so far where both the options are a high-end, expensive brand. Like diesel jorts, you go buy a pair, they're going to be like £250 still.
Yeah, but I mean, they don't look like a bad quality pair of shorts.
That's what I mean. It's not like Louis Vuitton and Primark or Zara. Like Diesel is a good brand.
Yeah, I'm going to lock in diesel.
Max.
Just to post Jack, I'll go Louis Vuitton because I'm really not sure.
5 for Jack. I mean Max.
Oh, on the
Five for
guess.
Max.
And how much are these? £8.50.
£850.
You almost got it as well. You were going to
I
go
was
Louis
like, yeah, I'm
Vuitton.
locking in Louis Vuitton.
No, you
it's
should have.
switched round.
I kind of wanted to put this model as a picture, but then the shoes completely gave it away. Like,
You could have cut his legs off
okay, that's just
in
crazy.
Photoshop, of course.
Nah. But yeah, no, 850. Obviously, as we said, great quality. They look amazing. 800.
What is? Can we see what that orange thing is now? I want to know what it is.
Let me zoom in actually.
They wouldn't have given it away.
It is a Louis V logo. You
Is
can
it?
see, like,
Oh
this is
yeah,
L.
no.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
thought it was
yeah.
flowers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that
Fair
would have given it away.
Okay, I'm happy I did not.
Right,
zoom
so
in.
I'm on 1, Max is on 5 or something, right?
Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You need to step up your game.
I need to step up.
Surely if you get the next
Well, I've
one,
won, but like we'll do the last one anyway,
Yeah.
just for a bit of fun, because people at home are playing.
Definitely.
They wanna see how many
you're
they've
probably
got.
gonna, like, find this interesting at home as well. So on to the last one for today, and it is these shoes.
Oh well, I know what they are.
Yeah, Mason Margiela.
Mason
Okay,
Margiela.
that
I've
was
seen
a-
them.
That was an easy one. I think like
You can tell just by the inside label on the sole.
Yeah, on the sole, and I've seen that shoe 100 times.
Yeah, they're like the golf cups or whatever
Okay,
they're called.
so
Like the cups.
Mason
Are they that much? $5.90.
Yeah,
Wow.
Mason Margiela replica sneakers.
Mhm.
190. I was
Why are
really-
they called replicas?
everything. I mean, not everything.
Oh
they
no,
do,
they're
but,
not
like,
cups. The cups are the Prada ones.
Yeah, but like even the fragrance collection is called the replica. I
Right.
guess it's for the
It's-
fragrance one because I'm more into fragrances. I know quite a lot. Like they try to replicate a sensation to the fragrances. Like they don't have a regular name like other fragrances. They have like a date, a place, and like what it's really supposed to make you feel like.
That's quite cool. That
There's
It's
one
cool.
called like Lazy Sunday Morning in like 2009 or something. So it's like making you supposed to like feel like that way, or like jazz club, like a Brooklyn whiskey club from like the 1980s or something.
pretty
like
yeah, that's really cool.
that.
I like
I
that.
guess like it is pretty much one of the just one of the factors in the brand. I'd say probably just trying to replicate a really good time, a specific feeling, and I'd say that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I
like
like brands that have things like that, like little they're very unique sort of things that
Yeah, I
represent their
think they do
brand.
it really well. I mean, they do like, I've seen a lot of stuff on Instagram where they've done it like in the sort of theme of like, I don't know, like the banana cardboard boxes, like the sort of way they have the numbers with the circles around. I've seen like
The
like
four
the
stitch,
generation-
the 4 stitch thing, that's the staple, isn't it? Having 4 stitches hand.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know they're hand done in reality, but they look it, and that's a staple on the back of their jumpers and stuff.
Mhm.
It's really cool.
100%. I was really close to buying this pair. I don't think exactly this colorway, but I was really close to buying them a few months ago. But then I was like,
They're kind of cool. I probably wouldn't wear them. I'd definitely wear.
I'd wear them if
like,
they were cheaper.
I'd
They're
wear-
quite smart. I'd wear them to dinner or something for sure.
I'd wear the
but
Prada cups over these.
I don't know what they are.
Actually, should we look up?
Are they similar?
Yeah, put them up. They're kind of similar, but they're just like
Are they like shiny ones?
Prada cups. I think they're called. Like they might not be called that, but yeah, but like if you get a really nice colorway,
Oh, I see.
they're clean, like that black colorway there.
Oh,
Nah, not them. Like if you go along, yeah, them.
I don't like them.
I think they're clean. Imagine like a really nice pair of like black trousers, like.
They're giving me chav vibes.
Yeah, they kind of give me Chav vibes too, but I really like the sole. I think it's like a good functional shoe. I'd wear that.
They're
I'd
giving
buy
me
them at J-Lo's.
skinny jeans, polo shirt, nightclub.
I like them a lot. I think it's just like finding a good colorway though is like the thing. And maybe just type in like rare colorway quick and just see what comes up.
So what? Rare.
Like rare colorway, like just rare.
Yeah, maybe it is the black colorway.
Because these are like the Chav ones. But if you get like them purple ones are real nice. Yeah, them ones you just had your hand. No. Like they're clean.
Yeah, they're kind of cool. They're giving almost oil slick. Are they brown or purple or what are
I
they?
don't know.
Or like go down, like the ones that if you go back, just zoom out, and then like if you go on like the OG sort of colorways of them, I'm acting like I know what I'm talking about, but I don't. But yeah, them ones, they're like the kind of like ones I saw. Well, what are them green and black ones below? Nah, along, down, left. That one.
This one.
Yeah, they're sick.
They're kind of cool. Their colours are much better.
Yeah, I rate them.
They're like vintage as well. Like the oldness of it takes away that kind of like, because the people that wear like the skinny jeans and the polo and them black shoes we saw before, they don't wear old shoes, so it kind of takes that sort of vibe away from it and gives it more of like a vintage sort of skatery sort
Yeah,
of
exactly.
vibe and look to it, you know. Whereas when they're like brand new, shiny out the box, they give a like a show off, like chavvy
Definitely.
Yeah, I completely agree.
bar
Right,
so
shall we
club
move
girl
on?
vibe.
Of course, I mean that was just the last slide.
No,
anyway.
definitely.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
going to be like, wait, let me just.
That was fun.
Yeah, 100%.
Jack needs to get better at that.
Oh, the scoreboard.
Well, scoreboard, I was
6
1
to 2.
6 to 2. 6 to 2. There we are.
Well, when
So
did you break
maybe-
up the second point?
I
Oh, that was the
don't-
Magellan.
Yeah, we both got that right.
Yeah, so 6 to 2, and we'll keep this on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And the games of the
There we
week
are. Well,
completed.
thank you, Tommy.
That was the
I'll
games of the
swing
week.
this round, and you
Of
switch
course.
it back to.
Thank you,
did a
Tommy.
good job
That
there.
was really good. You did a good job there. Cool. What's next?
Right. So, I think
Oh, the Q&A.
the Q&A, but we didn't actually get any Q&As. I put
no
like
one
a
ask
little
that?
thing on my Instagram saying like, "Oh, people ask me questions."
No one did.
Saying they were going to, but I didn't get any.
You should have put something on your story where you can just type it straight, and you would have had hundreds.
You're right. I didn't really think.
How
about it,
quickly do you reckon you'll get a question? Maybe if you put one up now.
So let's just do the news on us, and then we'll see if we get any questions after that. Like
Yeah. Yeah, we'll literally put a story up now. I reckon you'll have a bunch by the time we've done our news, and then we can just answer one of the best ones. Maybe Tommy can pick it, ask us it. But yeah, I'll start with my news while Jack's on that. So, what are you doing now?
Q&A second.
Okay, what, just showing around the studio and that. That's set up. Our little podcast setup. Yeah.
What do you think of
Give
the
me-
games?
The games were good. Yeah, you did a good job on that. I didn't realise you were going to get a whole presentation together, so you've done a good job of that. How long did that take you?
Probably like realistically like 1.5 hours. I guess just the longest thing was to find a celebrity fits.
I guess now though you can use that template and just.
Yeah, just delete the things and like you can see even the background. I decided to put like this Renaissance thing.
I think I was thinking about the background while you're doing it. I think it's a good pick because it's got ships in it, which quite good represent me, and then it's obviously a Renaissance painting which represents Jack quite well. I think that represents both of us quite good. That image behind.
100%.
But I think you've done a good job there. The only thing not change, but like next week, instead of doing like slow fashion versus high fashion, maybe we change it to spot the one of one or spot the AI or spot the fake. Do it slightly different game every week.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe we should.
That game was good though because we didn't think of that one, did we? Spot the high end and low end of fashion.
Yeah, I really like that. You actually smashed it out.
Yeah, you did a good job.
I'm happy with how it came out. Really, I think we should do it like more often, but probably like obviously.
Tommy needs a mic. Should probably
Yeah.
do him very well right now.
Another thing, and another one which we already said was when you do the celebrity fits, maybe like just figure out what if there's like two like really cool items, find out what they are,
Definitely.
and maybe the
Right,
prices.
let's move on. Let's do the personal news.
Personal
or was there
news.
another segment after that?
No, I think I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure.
No, just do personal news and then we'll just wrap
Pretty
up.
su- yeah.
with a question to answer. Do you
Okay.
want to go first, or shall I go first?
Oh yeah, I'll go first. So, so what's
Shall I just introduce the segment?
yeah.
So I mean, just the segment is
What's the date?
basically personal news. So essentially, it's anything that we've got sort of going on, going into the future, or stuff that's releasing soon, or things that we're doing that we just want to share with you guys. And if you want to get involved, or if there's any way that you can sort of follow along the journey, then this is sort of like the way for you guys to just hear about what we're doing, or we can talk about it a little bit more in depth. So, yeah.
Okay, so my news is on Monday the 7th, I will be opening the pre-release for my first printed t-shirts. These printed t-shirts are basically to help just fund making these one-of-ones. They're quite hard to sell, so I'm thinking of releasing just a blank tee. They're only going to be $29.99, cheapest thing that'll be on my website for sure. And yeah, it's just anyone that wants to help fund like what I do. If you like the stuff I make, if you like the one-on-ones, if you want to see more, if you want to see me make the best stuff I possibly can, because some of the things that are expensive to make, sometimes these fabrics can cost more than £100 to make just one jacket, and every month I'm planning on doing one big jacket. So these t-shirts are basically going to go towards funding that. It means that people that like my stuff but can't necessarily spend the money on it can have like an item from me still, like have my new logo on it, which I mentioned earlier. Yeah, there's going to be a pre-release of the first ones. They'll be open for 2 weeks and then they will be ordered. They're printed on AS color blanks, so they'll be high quality. The logo's great. You guys will see that on Monday. And yeah, I'm going to release a video in a week explaining more about this. But yeah, first we'll talk about it on the podcast to let people
Very
know.
good.
So yeah, 7th.
And I love how
on the
you're like
7th.
filming the whole sort of process of going through the process of trying
Trying to start the
a
brand.
clothing brand in that way.
Yeah, so the
using, like-
first day is going to be the swapping the bag for
Of course.
the logo. That's going to be on Monday. I'll post that. Following Monday, I'll post a video talking about this pre-release, and then they'll be available to order for 2 weeks. And then after that 2 weeks, the order will be put in. $29.99. Keep an eye out for that. Give me a follow, and you'll see the video. Captain.Mako on Instagram and TikTok.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Cool. No, it's sick. I love that. I think like every brand sort of needs that lower price point item, and
Yeah.
I think your t-shirts are going to be like a perfect version of that, because I always think to myself, like personally for like me, I always think like, what is the point of doing like a t-shirt when I'm trying to like make stuff that looks this crazy? But I think on the like sort of opposite side of that, like if you can create a really nice t-shirt, like we're both
Yeah.
wearing t-shirts now.
Everyone's wearing
everyone
t-shirts.
wears t-shirts. You need t-shirts.
And I
And it's a
think
good way to support.
yeah. Oops, no.
I was just going to say it's a good way to support, and I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think the
My
tee
next
as well.
t-shirt.
Like, it's not too far from my brand, because I guess the kind of theme behind my brand is I like to bring a lot of like rebellious stuff into it. Like, it's the big theme of it is pirates, and I think that's because like back in the day they were like the most rebellistic kind of person you could possibly be. But like, this is the t-shirt. The print is graffiti, and these days, graffiti is a very rebellious thing. and that's why I distress a lot of stuff, because when like an older person sees something distressed, they think like, oh, these kids, or like rebellious youngsters, like it's kind of this sort of vibe. Like I try and incorporate a lot of that in, and it being a graffiti style print is something I really like, and I think it represents my brand. Is that shown on the screen right now? That this is my website, and the new logo's at the top of it. So that's the image that will be on these new tees. Is I really love it. It's sick as fuck.
No, it is really cool. It's like a leveled up version of your old logo.
Yeah, and it's called Wild Style, which is the sort of style of graffiti which Nux does. And it's
cool.
He's done a great job on it.
No, well good. My news.
Yeah, what's yours?
My news is just that I'm pushing patterns. So if you guys are ever interested in making clothes, then buy my patterns, because pretty much like
get that old sewing machine out.
It up now. If you have a sewing machine dusted in your like loft, in your basement, wherever you've just got a sewing machine lying around, then like my patterns that I'm releasing at the moment, they're like a price point between like $14.99, which is about like $18 or $17 or something. It says all the things there, how much things are in that US dollars. So $19 US, 1750 euros, 2,980 Japanese yen, and then 25 Canadian dollars, and then 29 Australian dollars. And essentially this is the Ushanka Trapper style cap. So I'm trying to like actually get people to buy patterns that they want to make. There's one there that Max is holding up.
Show it off.
Basically,
I showed this earlier in the podcast.
I showed this earlier, but pretty much this is one of the patterns. You make a Ushanka cap, but the sort of like great sort of side of it is the fact that you can actually just make whatever you want and use these as like a base plate to do whatever. I guess the patterns are not just your average tote bag and bucket hat. So for me, it's kind of like, giving you guys more option with just like curved patterns and just like understanding pattern design a little bit more than just two bits of fabric that are like stuck together, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm doing them.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, what I think is good about your patterns as well is a lot of the patterns you buy, you find them in the charity shop or whatever, they're always very old lady, like it's always a dress or like a shirt that they'd make for their like son, and they're never very stylish, they're never very cool or like modern. They're all very boring. Like you can, they're just not very stylish. Like you end up with an item that you expect to see in the charity shop, which you don't really want if you're making something cool. And that's probably why a lot of people don't bother, because those patterns are, why would you want a lot of them ones? But the ones you're making, you got the bag we've got there on the screen, like that's, anyone could wear that, any age. Like it's quite a stylish bag, and you can do your own things to it, like Jack does, all the hand stitching,
definitely,
all the
I think
patches.
It just, like I'm trying to make the sort of like reference and the sort of tutorial videos out of like the sort of like duck canvas we spoke about earlier. And I think it's because like I want people to know that like, the crazy garms they see on my like Instagram or whatever, like regularly, they can like do that themselves, and then when you make it out of canvas, it sort of brings it a bit closer to home. And they come with free 40-minute POV tutorials. Some aren't POV, but they're just like 40-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute tutorials, and by the end of it, you will come out the other end and you will have a finished garment. There's a balaclava, there's a travel backpack / duffel bag, there's a Ushanka cap, there's a 6-panel cap, and then
side bag,
and then a side bag. Sorry, so
I think
there's five patterns now, and I think it's only growing monetarily, like money wise. Like it's good for me because it means I can focus on the one of ones and make the best things I possibly sort of can make for my Instagram without having to worry about my next order.
Same vibes with the t-shirts. That's we're both trying to do at the moment.
Exactly, it's like the short form, the quick like passive income rather than like spending like £700-800 on one jacket. But it
helps you make them jackets.
It helps me make them jackets. It helps me be able to do my artwork without having to like, because it's still an issue. And like maybe a lot of you won't know this. I don't know if you're new here from YouTube or you've been here for like 8 years on like, or not 8 years, but like 5 years on the Instagram or whatever. Like I still like struggle figuring out like ways to go in different directions and stuff. It's not all just sunshine and rainbows just because there's like 137,000 followers. It's all just it's all just a process. But I want to be able to give back to you guys and be able to like sort of just teach you guys how to make clothes and be able to just give value, because at the end of the day, this clothing stuff, as we have mentioned before, it is all about just like sticking together. You know, the adverts, bringing our friends into the adverts, community driven projects, like even us doing this together with Tommy, Max, like it's just a bit of fun. And I think there's a lot more sort of like love to this than there is in like the H&M clothes that people buy. I was just gonna say, obviously, one of one clothing is expensive, but it's expensive because one person is making that solely for you.
I think one thing people need to know as well, which is before they buy these patterns, is me, we're no one special. We haven't gone to any special school or any university to learn any of this. We both just started from YouTube videos, old sewing machines, just initiative, going down, getting scrap fabric and old clothes, ripping them up, turning them into new ones. Like, I just started, I just made a t-shirt and it was absolutely horrific and it was terrible. And then I made a shirt, terrible. Made a hat, terrible. And now I can make, a lined jacket that's seamless with fur and zips and
it's
welted
just pressing
pockets.
That button and just doing it.
Just sending it. The first 10 things you make are going to be absolute dog shit. But
and I hope we can inspire people by talking about sewing, talking about clothing and stuff. But yeah, should I have a look if we've got a question?
Yeah, let's have a little look.
Do we have a question?
We
have from Nathan Marriott. When you come in pub?
When you come in pub?
Yeah.
Soon, because this is the last segment.
This is the last segment. But other than that, no replies yet.
No replies on Rough Cut.
I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
Oh no!
Slow performing story.
How many views has it got?
77 views.
Oh no! We'll answer your questions next time.
We'll be a bit more planned. Because last time I asked the questions, I've asked the questions live now. I don't think that we've planned this specifically, but I hope you guys have enjoyed what we've done here. I really hope that you've enjoyed the dynamic of me and Max and Tommy, and I hope you enjoyed Tommy's games. I hope you enjoyed the little stories of like the things that have inspired us and the things that like we are proud of for the week. And I hope that you will be around for the next podcast, which will probably be from like a month from now, but maybe 3 weeks. It kind of depends as and when we want to create them. But
yeah, we don't know how often we're going to do these, but depending on how they perform, maybe we could do them every 2 weeks, fortnightly.
Definitely. Well,
we'll find out.
Well, thank you from us.
Thank you for watching.
And hopefully we'll catch you next time. See you in a bit.
See you later.